Oh, no problem, Eric says. Vice grips some sheets of metal that he cuts up into the fucking plugs, vice grips them into the proper parts on the
adapter kit.
Little adapter kit. Off we are,
Awesome
welding
for
away.
220.
Yeah. But, and you know, it,
Don't
like,
get too close. It'll be fine.
nothing can stop that guy. No force of earth. If he wants to do something, he's going to do it.
Welcome to Oil and Whiskey, an Ironclad original. I am Josh Henning.
I'm Phil Gerber.
I'm Jeremy Gerber.
Welcome, everybody, back to Oil and Whiskey with the Roadster Shop, an Ironclad original. Today's guest in the studio is the owner of Cal Automotive Creations, Andy Leach, and Matt.
Just Matt.
Just Matt. Just plain old Matt.
Matt Summers.
Andy and Matt Summers. But first, we want to do the all-famous On the Gas. This is where we give a shout-out to a vendor, shop, partner, somebody that's out there on the gas. But when we have an in-studio guest, such as Andy and just Matt, we're going to give them the opportunity to give a shout-out to somebody that's on the gas. So what do you got?
What do we got? Well, as you all know, we just finished the 60 Buick Invicta.
I wasn't aware. Is that something new?
Yeah.
You just finished?
The big old green machine. So
You just won an award, I think.
yeah, no,
little award.
Little small one.
we got a great team and everybody that helped out. You guys were even involved in that. Probably didn't know that.
Very early on.
Very early on, yes. So there's still quite a bit of that chassis left in there.
Cool.
But no, as always, you guys have a great product.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It's, we have, about a dozen of your chassis sitting at the shop, a couple waiting, and probably need to order some more. And, just,
We appreciate it, dude.
repetitive cycle. So
Nice.
great people, great, it takes a great team to do all this stuff. So everybody involved, huge shout out to them. I don't know if I can nominate somebody, but it'd probably be Randy from Paint House. I hear he's done a small segment.
Yeah, Randy popped on. That's why we've got these sweet little rocks glasses.
Yeah.
Tumblers that Randy supplied us with.
Randy's a fantastic guy, as you guys all know. He's about as good as they come. So he's on deck.
Nice. So he was involved, like, paint, body, everything from the start, like taking the car from bare metal, or
Well,
that's a big job.
That's a huge job.
Yeah.
So what happened there was I had a body shop, and I had two body guys leave at the perfect time.
After the body work was done,
Well,
or
Right before.
right before. Yeah.
So we had body worked the chassis and the bottom side of the floor. That was all painted and assembled, and then we were just starting on the top side, and then that's when they. So Scott Schneckloth works for me. He did the top side, most of it, along with some of our guys in body work, and then Randy got a phone call, and he was the lucky one that answered it. Yeah. So, hey, dude, we need some help, and known Randy for a long time. I've always wanted him to work with us. Oh, thank you.
You're good. Just a little closer.
A little closer. All right. So yeah, he came up and checked the car out and spent about a week up there.
Yeah, we
Just kind of going over it. And then he took the car back with him to Texas. And I went back down there about 3 months later to get it. And, it's absolutely beautiful. He came up with this color, fought it a little bit, but Randy's awesome. He's kind of like the rest of us that he won't say no. He'll work through the problem until you get it.
Isn't it awesome where you can just be like, I'll think about other things. He's thinking about that, and I trust it's going to be done, and it's going to be done perfect.
Yeah, well, that's when you have a great team is you have complete trust in them, and that no matter what it is, they're going to pull it off, whatever it takes. So
That's awesome. Randy from Paint House, getting the love for On the Gas.
Dude, you fell short, Josh, on your full introduction. The hot rod industry, everybody knows Andy, but you're missing half of that. Oh, you're getting into that?
Yeah, because On the Gas is first.
All right, sorry.
And then
you gave the introduction at the beginning, so
I was reading what they said. So we've got just like
I'm just reading ahead
in the order.
I'm just reading ahead.
So 2 comes after 1.
Okay.
Today it does. All right. Yeah, today. So then now
It's leap year.
right now we're going to do the introduction.
Why don't you go ahead?
is that a roll tide thing or what?
Something like that. Yeah. Floor is yours.
Jeremy loves to get me right out of the zone. Right when everything's rolling, he'll figure out a way to. He's so
Because you
nice.
sound too good, so I want to knock you down a couple levels.
I'll get better. I apologize.
That was a compliment.
Oh, you said it
I
did
said
sound
you
good?
sound too good, so you need to knock you down.
Everybody
a few
thinks
levels.
like you've got one of those radio voices, you know?
Hey.
Do some monster truck stuff.
Oh, that would be kind of fun.
Sunday.
Little Monster Jam.
I've lost most of the accent, though. I need to get it back.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Pretty cool. All right. Today's guest in the studio, Andy Leach and Just Matt of Cal Automotive Creations out of Bennington, Nebraska. Cal Automotive Creations is an award-winning custom fabrication shop that specializes in blending classic styles with new innovation. Andy fell in love with car fabrication when he was 14 years old. Watching his dad finish a 34 Chevy, he burst onto the scene in 2013 after winning the Riddler Award for his 40 Ford Coupe. You can learn more about Andy at Cal Automotive Creations and visit CalAutoCreations.com and follow them on Instagram at Cal Auto Creations. Andy Leach and Matt, welcome to Oil and Whiskey.
Thank you for having us.
Pleasure, man. Glad you guys can make it out.
Yeah,
Appreciate you
absolutely.
making the trek. It's always a lot more fun in person and
Right?
have some drinks and catch up on old times.
Absolutely.
And you guys are out here obviously displaying the masterpiece that you've created.
The big green machine, baby.
Hell yeah. How is that getting in and out of the trailer? Just
Pure hell.
I can imagine. Hey, that's one of those like fender to fender deals.
We were just talking about
What,
it.
what are the measurements, Matt? Because
The trailer's 79 and a half and the car's 79.
Oh,
You do the math.
Yeah,
Don't need
man,
tie
It's
downs.
like 2 inches. It's like 2 inches on each side, right?
is
that one where
just a little closer as well? Just,
Okay.
you can pull it back toward you. Yeah, you get
Is that one where the bottom of the fenders flare out so you think you clear the bumper and then you catch it there on the wheel wells?
yeah.
Yeah.
Just when you think you made it.
And it's real nice. The paint's so reflective, you just don't know where the green ends and the fender begins.
Randy's got plenty of touch up on.
Not yet.
So before we get into the award-winning vehicle that we're talking about, tell us about how it got started way back in the day. This is like, I want to hear about little boy Andy.
Little boy.
Little boy Andy.
So I met George Eli Costas actually up here in Chicago at the World of Wheels in 2014. And he had been trying to call me, and I was playing hard to get. And finally, he tracked me down up here at the World of Wheels. And we talked, had a couple of drinks, and went back and forth. And it was kind of love at first sight. The plan I had, he fell in love with, and he shipped it down, and we started on it. One of the first things I did was I actually called Chip just to see if I was crazy or not. I wanted to wedge section the car from day one because it's one of them cars that looks like it's running uphill, but most people, they know what a 60 Buick is, but they can't, really pick it out. Yep. So I called Chip because he did a 57 Chevy like 30 years ago. It was a black convertible that was wedge sectioned. And you try to Google the thing and you can't find it on the internet. It's nowhere out there. So
Before digital cameras.
yeah. Yeah, right. So I called him and we discussed it for a little bit, and he's like, yeah, you should do that. And I'm kind of a guy that I almost feel that every custom car should be wedge section. Just something that I like.
You're right. When you do it, it's like, it's one of those things you don't really know what they did, but why is that car so badass?
Right.
And you remember like the G-Force CUDA. I mean, that one was more obvious that thing was, it was like a missile, but so bitchin' when you wedge section it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the pickup you guys just showed me down there.
Yeah.
You guys nailed it. And every one of them looked great when they're just take a little bit out. Not too much. But
Right.
Except
Not
for the
enough
ones-
to,
The restraint is key.
not enough to show to be like, I want everybody to know that I wedge section this.
Right.
That's the key.
Right.
Because you can't overdo it.
You're
And then it's
building, you're
bad.
building in a little bit of the proper rake into the body,
Right.
So it's just a little bit faster,
Right.
Just like chopping it like 8 inches, like that's the proper amount for pretty much all chops, is 8 inches. So
You want,
everybody
you
knows
want
it.
people to know you
Yeah,
chop?
if I'm gonna chop it, I'm gonna.
A solid number.
Oh no! Well, what I was asking, but to hop back, like way back, to get into the car thing. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Like,
the car
little
thing.
boy Andy. Yeah,
How'd you get your start in the
yeah. We
industry?
got like these. These podcasts are like 7
Yeah, we're
hours.
gonna be here all night.
That's all right.
All night long, fellas. We're gonna start at Inception.
So going way back.
When a man and a woman.
Going way back, I was always into art. I was kind of that nerd that sat at home and just did drawings and stuff. And I was like 14 years old, and my dad, I played a lot of sports. It was always soccer and basketball and whatnot. That was my thing. And we were actually at a soccer tournament, and we were driving down the street in Lincoln, Nebraska, and he saw this 34 Chevy for sale. was a done car sitting at a dealership, and turns out he buys it. And it was just something from that moment on, cars were, it was like a light switch. I mean, that was where the fork in the road was right there. So a couple months later, he found some 37 Buick out in the boonies on some farm, and he called me out of school, and we drove halfway across Nebraska, and we drug it out of there for $50 or something. And I was like, this is freaking awesome.
That's cool.
So, and then it just kept going and going. And then we found a 37 Ford 2-door sedan, and he helped me buy that. So that was my first car. So I'd tear that thing apart, put it back together, and I never finished it or anything, but that was my true love. It's just like cars, just like that.
Were you done with sports at that point?
I played sports all the way through college, actually.
Really?
Yep. And that was still a huge part of my heart. I love sports.
He was the kicker on the football team. Don't let him.
I was.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with that, man.
Make a damn good living.
Robbie Gold, kicker.
Yeah.
He plays sports. Hang out with him sometimes.
Yeah.
Kicks the ball really well.
Who does he play for?
The San Francisco
Yep.
team.
That team. The San Francisco football team.
Yeah. Does good.
So
He's super into sports, in case you couldn't tell.
So it just turned into cars. The sports thing fizzled out through college, and
Where'd you go to college?
Concordia University in Seward, Nebraska. Little bitty college, but got a bunch of great friends that college roommates. We still talk every day, and it's.
So you do college, you do some sports in there, but you're still building cars and stuff. And when you're getting out of college, you're like, hey, I'm going to make a living building cars.
So I was going back home on the weekends to work on cars. My dad was sick, so I'd go home during the weekends, and my childhood was either spent playing sports, or we were in a duck blind, or hunting pheasants, or roaming through some abandoned junkyard somewhere. So that's kind of how my childhood went. And then, all through college, I'd go home on the weekends to see my dad and spend time with him. And when I graduated, I took a graphic design job. I was a graphic design major. Had a job for like 9 months. I hated it. It was the worst thing ever. It didn't matter what time I went to bed. I could not sit at that desk.
Chained to the desk.
It was horrible. It was prison. So I went back to just doing some car stuff on the side. Took a few jobs just to pay rent and whatnot, and started my company back then. And I was doing some stuff, just a lot of air ride stuff, just stuff like that to pay the bills. And through that time, I had met Troy, and my dad had passed away in 2000, and I was kind of at a low spot there, and just kind of going in circles. Didn't know really what to do or what I was going to do.
How do you cross paths with Troy? Because you're
For
probably
people that don't know, Troy, he's the
French dude.
Yeah, the French dude down in Central Illinois. Radical Rides by Troy Trepanier.
Yeah, we.
Yeah. We got to bust his balls. He's gotten so much love on this fucking podcast. We got to take the opportunity to bust his balls when we can.
Yeah, Troy's a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
He is. So just met Troy through the car shows with my dad and stuff, and developed a relationship there. Got real close with Jack. Jack was actually the one that kind of offered me a job. And then Troy would call her once in a while, and I'm like, no, I'm not ready. And then there was one time in 2003, he called. I was kind of having a bad day. And he called, and I'm like, you know what? I'll be there in like 2 weeks. He goes, okay. So moved out there on April 13th of 2003.
Wow.
I remember that day. So.
And why weren't you ready leading up to it?
What's that?
Why weren't you ready? Not ready to close your shop down? Didn't think you were at the level yet?
It's just more with my dad. I just hadn't really dealt with that type of stuff. I was real close to him, so kind of how you guys were with your dad.
Yeah,
was a great man.
Tough,
I mean,
tough deal.
So I just kind of trying to figure it all out, and moved out there. That was a heck of a decision to just pack up and go out there, and did it. And I don't regret any of it. It's as everybody knows, that place is. We were just down there today, and I told him, I'm like, dude, wait till you see this.
Yeah.
And I mean, I work there, and then we walk in there, and it's just like,
Still mind blowing.
I quit.
Yeah. Yeah, Troy, he has like the ability to just suck the will to build hot rods out of you. because of how
Yeah, how are you going to do it like that?
exactly. Yeah, it's like that's as good as it gets. So like if I'm striving to be really really good at this, I'm not going to get there. So it's easier to just not do it. You know?
Place looks like a museum.
Yeah,
and
it's
there's
cool.
so much stuff going on.
But it's inspiring at the same time.
Very, very. And you know, that's the thing is visiting even you guys here, you know, I think that's the thing that pushes all of us is you see what you guys are doing, what Troy's doing. And it's like, it just makes you better.
Yeah,
It's not necessarily like a one up thing. It's just like,
It's a push.
It's the creative side of you that just wants to keep going.
And if you don't want to push it a little bit on every build, what are you doing?
Right.
Right? Like
100%, man. Yeah,
just slapping together cars for no reason.
right.
Might as well be chained at a desk doing graphic design work.
Yeah.
Dude, that was hell.
So you're thrown into, I mean,
Top shop.
yeah, the top. Like, what is that like? Your first week, your first month, like
First day. I mean,
Yeah.
showing walking into there is
You know,
How
I honestly
intimidating is
don't
that?
remember much about that.
really.
Yeah, obviously it was a dream, you know, and then you're working around all these guys that are like super talented,
Right.
and you don't really know them yet. So you're kind of balancing, well, I got to show them what I can do, you know, and all this. And
And that's like the Pete. You're there like Levi, Jared, right? That's the whole
Yeah.
the whole gang.
yeah, that was, the whole crew there, the Moose and Dan and, you know, Warren, the body guy, and
Was Thrash still hanging around at that point?
hanging is a loose term.
That's
Oh, was that out loud?
we have heard that he listens, has listened to a few. His name gets thrown around with a lot of different people.
Bob's a great guy.
talented dude.
Talented dude.
Very talented.
Very talented.
Yeah.
I hung around with
Wildly
Bob
talented.
quite a bit down there in Mantino. Got a lot of respect for Bob. I just don't understand some of his work ethics at time, but hey, I think that's everybody. But no, that dude is super talented. I mean,
What's do you remember the first project he put you on?
it was either that 40 Ford or that 37 Ford. It was fixing one of those two. I don't remember. Fixing just the front fenders or something. It was kind of well, let's see what you can do right off the bat. So it was just repairing some fenders. And then it went into, that 40, that green one that he built for Stan Fox. I made the grill on it. That was one of the first things I made. Then we went into the windshield and the folding top on it. And then,
So all this skill at this point in time, this was you working with your dad on cars, and then like when you had your own shop doing the stuff, just learning along the way.
so my dad was really into cars, but he was not into building cars.
Okay.
He just liked cars. But he would go to Harbor Freight and buy me the $150 bead roller, and that's cool, you know. Then he'd buy an English wheel and
Kick shrinker. And
and all that crap. So then we'd go find some shoebox Chevy out in the country for $75, and I'd cut it up, destroy it, and then we'd go find another one, and that's how I learned, honestly. So that's why there's no more shoebox Chevys in the Midwest. So
Cut 'em all out. They either rotted away or Andy cut them.
yeah.
But acquiring like that skill set to step into a shop like that and to be able to like, you know, be functional, you know, to be an asset there. I mean, you TIG welding, are you metal shaping before you step foot in there? Are you like,
I
what
had
is
never TIG welded before I went to Troy's.
Really?
I accidentally told him that I had.
Yeah.
But I mean, it within a week I had to have it figured out pretty
Yeah.
much. So there we were TIG weld. So I don't know. You know, it's not one of those things I ever thought, well, you know, got like nervous about it. You just go in and do your thing, and
on the sheet metal shaping side, did your background from the graphic design and the art thing play into as far as at least knowing what it's supposed to look like when you're dealing with sweeps, curves, and arches and stuff like that? When you're forming,
I think we studied design, obviously.
Right.
Design's pretty simple when you really break it down. So that had a big hand in it, you know. And when I went to Troy's, I don't think I fully understood like light lines and seeing shapes and panels, you know. Like nowadays guys can just look at a panel and they're like, oh, it's got a hollow in it. And you're like, you know, some guys are like, what are you talking about? And look at that door or whatever.
right?
You know, so I learned a lot like that first couple of weeks I was there at Troy's. You know, you're kind of thrown into the fire. Either you learn it or
Yeah,
see you later.
right. You better start thinking or remembering pretty quick, picking
Right.
it up.
Right. But that's where you're only as good as the people you're around or you surround yourself with. So you had some badasses down there and learned a lot.
Was the we'll move on from this, but was the atmosphere what you would have wanted it to be as a young guy coming in and learning?
Everybody was willing to show you how to do things and help you, but it was very competitive too. I mean, it was, you got a bunch of talented dudes that are,
Is it the competition, you think, is that beneficial? Like you're looking at this guy and he's doing something, so I want to elevate my game, or is it toxic? Is it like, fuck this guy? Like,
No.
This guy sucks. I'm going to let him know he sucks, or,
on a friend level, that's how you treat them, but no.
Because I've always thought that's a big thing in the shop environment is like, I feel like that competition and looking at a guy and recognizing like his skill set, what he's got, if he's better than you, I feel like it brings everybody up. So it should be competitive to a degree,
To relate it to sports thing, like if everybody was, if you had a team full of wide receivers and they were all trying to be wide receivers, then yes, you're going to have that negative competition. Right. But as long as the shop looks at it as a team environment and you've got a wide receiver, you've got offense, defense, you've got quarterback, be competitive to be the best for your team.
Right.
It doesn't mean that the quarterback's going to be the best quarterback and you're going to lose your job as a running back or a wide receiver.
Right. I always, with my guys, I always say it, that we're all really good at a few things and then we suck at a bunch of things, but that's where the team comes into play. And
hopefully the things you suck at, the other guys excel at.
In theory, yeah.
Right.
So.
Sure.
But,
I always try to explain that to everyone. That's what builds a team. There's so many guys that like Evan's skill set is like having a slow turbo car. That's his. No, but all jokes aside, I mean, you've got guys that like everybody has their thing that they're good at,
right?
And you blend that together, and it's like you've got it's a superpower,
right?
I've met very few in the 20-something years of being in this. Very few guys that are the absolute best at start to finish from building a car because you've got systems. You've got chassis setup, you got chassis building, you've got sheet metal shaping. You've got, I mean, I don't know how many times you've all seen it. I mean, you've got a guy that could build the baddest ass fucking headers, tube work, and all that. You generally, overgeneralizing, but most of the time, if that guy's that good at fucking tube, he can't make a 90-degree angle with some flat sheet, for the most, sometimes, And then when he comes to systems and stuff, you can have a sheet metal guy, but not realize that there's a transmission that has to go in that flat floor, or whether it's HVAC or whatever it is, and then you get into final assembly and weather strip and putting in glass and stuff like that. That's a completely different skill set. There's very few people that could do it from start to finish. Dave Lane, maybe.
I was going to bring Dave up.
Dave Lane is the only one.
Dave is.
That's where Chad Hagel.
Is that how you say
Hagelstein?
The sixth.
That's that's where he shined. Like, dude, it just everything.
And that takes a lifetime of work to figure that out. You don't just wake up one morning and be like, well, I know everything.
Yeah, like I'm going to shape sheet metal and I'm going to align these panels and like do these weather strips, line this glass. It just
And you probably screwed some stuff up at one point and learned from it.
Well, yeah,
That's the best way to learn.
It's the only way to learn.
Yeah.
I think that Ironclad's slogan is still one of my favorites. I think it applies to this industry a bunch. The whole iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And just you have better guys that are bringing the other guys up, and everyone's kind of going together to build the team. But
Right.
You're in competition amongst the guys around you to be better in your area, and they make you want to be better.
Right.
But that's generally a conversation that you have to have with the team and then for it to click, and then some time has to go by because it's difficult. I mean, we were all young once, some of us.
It was a long time ago for some of us.
For some of us, yes, it was. But you can't, you're not going to figure that out on your own for the most part. You're not going to be competing against the guy next to you and then all of a sudden realize, be like, you know what? I shouldn't compete against him because we're going to all be on the same team. You have to have somebody that's wise or older than you say, look, this is the deal. If he's better at this one thing, I'm not going to come in and be like, hey, I'm firing you.
Right.
Or he's being promoted to another position because he can do this better. Everybody get good at what you're doing and continuing to learn.
Right.
That's your skill and your value to the company. Being a team player and learning from the next guy and then showing him what you do is your value, not what you know and keeping it into a little box. You're like, I'm the only one that will ever know how to do this. Because I promise you, you're not now and you never will be.
Right.
And that's hard to find guys that are really talented that don't have the ego. They're willing to let somebody else be better. Willing to listen, willing to learn.
There's always somebody better than you out there.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Always, you know.
Instagram's been like great at demonstrating that too, because I mean, you'll like stumble across, like, who's the dude that made the turtle? Have you seen that? The metal shaping guy?
I don't think
It
I've seen
pops
that.
up
I
and
missed that one.
it's like, dude, I don't care who, like any metal shaper. This guy's like, it's a freak.
Sheet metal turtle.
Oh, he made it like a sculpture. Okay. It pops up in Instagram all the time.
I like turtles.
Yes. I know you do. I know you do. But yeah, it's it's humbling when you see
It, well, that, and then you see like shit from Australia, like some shops that you've never heard of. And you're like, oh,
Australians are just badasses.
yeah.
dude. Yeah, that's why I'm wearing this sweatshirt.
You are.
I got this hustling auto detail.
We imported one to do our metal work.
Did
Yeah,
you?
Yeah,
yeah.
we
We have
got
an
it from
Australian that he would. You get him on here, and every word is just bleep bleep bleep. But the
then a
dude
little
is
bit
just
of oi,
phenomenal.
mate.
What's that?
And a little bit of oi, mate.
Yeah,
You know what's crazy? He doesn't have much of an Australian accent, just more gruff. Yeah, real like mumbly. Awesome guy though. Brought the metal work at the shop up 10 notches when he got there, and brought everybody up with him.
yeah.
That's cool.
That is. I always
Old school lead work, the whole 9 yards.
That's bitching. I always notice that. And again, back to Instagram. It's like when you see the picture, you ever notice how you know it was made? It's Australian made.
It's a ute.
With a
Even
supercharger
beside
coming out of the hood.
No, it's like I'm
The
talking
metal,
about
the metal's
yeah.
got a sheen or
Yes,
like
yes.
a
I'm
look
talking
to
about
it.
like the fabrication. When you look at like metal finishing, metal work.
It's Australian sheet metal. It's got a
Well, yeah, I don't know.
It's got like a color.
And maybe that's just me, but
no, I know what you're saying. It's like they either finish it with a different grit or there's just it's got a sheen color. So moving forward, so you're doing the thing. You're getting to be more accomplished. You've built some fucking badass cars, and obviously we're probably had some amazing experiences that you would only have had with the little Frenchman down in Central Illinois, Troy Trippin, yay. But all seriousness, how long were you there?
I was there from 2003 to the middle of 2008.
Okay.
Went back home to be closer to my mom, and I had my daughter. I had full custody of my daughter, so I wanted to go home.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I left Troy's, I was like done with cars for a bit. I had enough.
sure.
I'd go to the grocery store and that magazine rack over there. And it's like, look away from that thing, and completely stayed away for like 2 years.
What drove you to that point? Like, how do you go from being like, dude, I'm in the like best shop. I'm so passionate about this. To
I think I was just burnt out a little bit.
hours working.
Yeah, I mean
killing
that's
yourself.
the one thing down at Troy's.
The
It
high
is
level.
just go. Get one done and 2 more are in, and I think I was just burnt out. And I had my daughter, and life had just changed a little bit. So went back to Omaha. Took a job at like we built food processing equipment, welding stainless and stuff, which, you got to have a crap job to appreciate the ones that, you know what I mean? I mean, seriously. And not saying that was a total crap job, but that was not something I kind of like the graphic design thing. No, thank you.
Didn't have the passion for welding stainless tubing.
Don't you
Yeah.
sometimes feel like when you're in that job, and maybe this is, we talk about egos, maybe this is mine, but like when you're in that job, don't you always feel like your experience in the hot rod building industry, like you're a little bit like Superman? Like you kind of, you're there, you're working, but you're like, dude, do you know like the things I can do? Like I'm welding this tubing together, but I can make things.
We can make this a lot cooler. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really give a fuck. Just weld it together.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, well,
15 more to go.
Hurry up.
And then there's 15 behind that.
Yeah.
No, it was just, I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at now without experiencing that and doing it. But
Sure.
it was like the third day I was on the job there, one of the guys died.
Ooh.
And I was like walking from my little bay over like towards the break room or whatnot. And the guy's laying on the floor with his hands up. And I'm like,
Holy shit.
I asked the one guy, I'm like, I don't know who that is, but what's going on over there? And
Tommy.
this is how I met Tommy, and he ended up working for me down the road, but that's how I met Tommy, was through this guy that passed away. And you got to know Tommy. He likes to get upset and throw his welding helmet as hard as he can at things. So
Dude, that's scary stuff. I honestly, I worry about that every time I open Josh's office door. I'm like, I'm going to find like natural causes. Father Time's going to take him. And, and it's a blessing when I open up the door and he smiles at me and I know he's still breathing. I'm like,
Give me a thumbs up.
yeah.
You fucking asshole. You're not that much younger than me.
Oh, so Tommy.
Tommy.
Tommy, anyway, so yeah, that's how I met Tommy. And I go, what's wrong with his name was Chris. And he's like, oh, fuck. And down that helmet went as hard as he could on the floor. And I'm like, the guy died. And it was like, holy
He was
crap.
pissed about it.
You have to understand Tommy's kind of mad about everything. So
It's like an inconvenience.
Yeah, wait, he'd get mad at himself mostly, but he would take it out on nobody else's stuff, but just his own welding helmet, his grinding helmet. He had a whole in his drawer. He had a whole thing of new lenses for his welding helmet. Wouldn't use an auto darkening because too expensive to replace. And he, no joke, probably one of the best welders I've ever seen.
oh yeah, he's
And the guy can make headers. I mean, he's one hell of a welder, but
You gotta have a
little-
release.
little
You
temp-
gotta
little
have a
temper on
release.
him.
you don't want to be
somehow.
around when
Yeah.
he sticks the tungsten.
Jared played tennis for a short time growing up and had a similar.
Oh, racket slams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You play tennis?
It was like a long weekend, I think. And
No, it
we
was-
went through like
no.
20 tennis rackets.
No, it was mostly in school. You had to do it in gym class.
Okay.
So me and Fenn, you get a little pissed off, so you slam the racket, and you're like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." This thing just like I just like tacoed this fucking racket, you know?
We do it 5 more times.
Yeah, right. And then you get removed from gym class.
No more tennis.
I was gonna say I didn't see you as a tennis player.
No, it's not really my thing.
It was a
Yeah.
short career.
So you're doing the welding thing. You saw a guy die. You realized fairly quickly, I was burnt out on the thing, but it was still probably not as bad as a real job.
Right. No, I could, and the car thing was still there. It was
Still
and
nipping
it's
away.
It's a disease,
Yep.
you know. And somewhere in that time period, I met a friend of mine was working on Ron Sizek's 40 Ford, which would turn into Checkered Past, and he asked me to do some sheet metal work on it, and that turned into me taking that car over full time. And it was at my house, my little 2-car garage, and you know, I'd get my daughter up 5:45. She'd be the first one at daycare. This little old lady'd be there 10 minutes early, and I'd drop Madison off and then go off to the welding job and then pick her up at 6 o'clock, and then we'd eat dinner, and down in the garage I'd go, and then
At that point, when you meet Ron, and I mean, the car's in process, right? How does that go from, hey, I want you to like do the rust repair on my 40 Ford to we're at Detroit, you winning the Riddler? And for a guy, I mean, he probably knows who you are, and you know he's got talent, know you got skill, but hey, it's you in your garage, like, build this.
so the car went on for just like repairing the rust in the panels and stuff for a little while, and then he started seeing that, you know, that was my passion, was hot rods and just fab work. So I had actually, I've told this story a million times, but everybody's probably heard it, but I'd had this email draft typed out to Ron that I wanted to go work on your car full time. And I was deathly afraid to hit send on that thing. So it sat in my drafts for, I don't know, 3-4 months or something. And I think I probably had a couple drinks one night, and I'm like, screw it. Boom. And literally like 10 seconds later, he calls me. This is like 10 o'clock at night too. He calls me back. He's like, that's the best email I've ever got. I'll meet you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Cool. The rest is history. And he's like, whatever you want to do, just do it. And then pretty soon he's like, you know, I've heard about that show in Detroit. Would you want to do that? And I'm like, well, that's up to you. That's a whole different car. He goes, do it. If you want to start a company, why not lead it off with this car?
Damn.
So no, I owe him a lot. He's awesome. Ron's awesome. So he helped me get going, and you know, we built that car in basically like 2.5 years.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And hired my first employee right before it went off to body and paint, which is Eric Hansen, good friend of ours, like a little brother to all of us.
He's
And
a long-haired dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
crazy talented.
Yeah.
Crazy talent. You'd never expect it.
You can kind of see it in him. You know, there's something about him. You can like, it's probably pretty damn good at what he does.
Yeah. I wanted him to come along, but he couldn't come. It'd have been awesome to have him here. But he's one of those guys that, you know, he lives for cars. That's it.
Yeah.
Guy has his own little shop that his family's had forever, and leaves work at 5, goes over there, picks up fast food on the way, works till midnight, 1 a.m, goes home, sleeps, comes and works on our cars during the day. I mean, he's got his own
machine.
like, he's got his own like little fleet of like, I mean, he's probably got 20, 25 cars, 6 of them, 7 of them run, but he's building and he's doing stuff. He just never stops.
He's single. Obviously, no kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
Eric's awesome.
Yeah,
though.
dude,
He's like
he's a
one of
machine.
those, he's one of those guys that he'll like, I'll tell the 40 story. He built the flathead in the 40. He's got a thing for flatheads. For obviously there's a lot better motors, but he thinks the flatheads.
Yeah, they're cool.
They are cool.
And he'll tell you he could never get valve covers to seal us, so he just went ahead and moved on over to flatheads.
There you go.
That's like a given that they're going to leak everywhere.
Right.
So
So we were actually assembling the motor, putting the motor and trans together on that car, and we had lost the flywheel bolts for that because the flathead ones are special bolts. And it was like 2:00 in the morning. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, I got those bolts on my nightstand." Who has flywheel bolts for a flathead on your nightstand? You know, it's Eric.
Yeah.
It's
His bed's made of tires.
he doesn't have a bed; he has a nest.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
So-
Dude, that's mind blowing that you built that car in that short amount of time, and especially like, I mean, you're not in the industry for that long.
Yeah,
Really leading up to, is what that car. I mean, that car is still like take that car to the Riddler, whatever that was last week. I don't want to like.
I thought it was there, wasn't it?
Shit, yeah, but I mean, that's the winner, hands down.
Well,
right? Now,
what do you mean? In comparison to the competition, you're saying
I'm
it was
just
there?
saying, it's a compliment to that car. It just says nothing about anything else. It's just that car.
What about
very-
last year? What did it have won last year?
Yeah, it would have last year too.
What about the year before that?
I don't. My memory doesn't go back that far. But I see where you're going with this.
The car was badass.
At any rate,
I think what he's trying to say, it's very timeless.
Yeah, the car
badass,
was badass.
extremely well
And it's-
executed
yeah,
build.
but that's really impressive to be able to like jump in, do something like that in that short period of time.
Especially with, I mean, like you said, brand new. And it's not like you've got facility and staff and thing like.
That car was built in a garage with a 8-foot ceiling.
Yeah, if you look at that shop, you wouldn't think anything could come out of that.
Yeah.
So are you saying to yourself like, I'm going to build this car, we're going to bring it out there, we're going to win, and this is going to, like, is that the business model? Is that this car is going to kickstart my business?
Honestly, I don't know what my motto was right then. It was just finish the 40. I thought it was pretty badass. I kind of knew what we had, but
Sure.
you don't know how it goes when you release a car, you know? And I've told this story. I mean, I went up to Detroit. I think I had $6 in my pocket, and that was it. And I had no idea what was going to happen after Sunday night. I had no idea. Didn't think about that because I didn't really care. That was it.
That was the goal.
And when they announced that, it was just like, holy crap. And it's just been a blur. You know, the goal was to start a company
Sure.
building cars, and it was never supposed to be in a sprint from day one. You know? And here we are on a dead sprint. And, you know,
Knowing what you know now, I still remember I was there at that show. I remember walking in. I was there like set up and seeing it. I was like, holy fuck, that thing's awesome. Yeah. Knowing what you know now, as long as you've been in the industry, having employees, would you suggest to somebody going out there to start their own company to build a Riddler car as the launching pad for their business?
not a Riddler car. not in today's world. No.
Right.
Just do your thing, build your best car you can possibly build. And just, it doesn't matter where you get it out there. There's plenty of shows. Get it out there.
Yeah.
You know, if it is a car that's going to make a statement, they're going to find you.
Especially with the internet today and all these car shows. I mean, you take anything cool out there, it's on 12 different pages before you know it.
Sure.
Yeah. You know,
Get a lot of guys asking, like, how do I get a car in SEMA? How do I get a car here? How do I get my name out with there? I think now it's probably, like you said, with social media, it's so much easier to get the exposure and kind of get that traction before the car's even done, showing your fabrication skills.
Right.
Where, you know, when we started out, you guys started out, you had to get in a magazine the magazine was printed a year after the car was finished, which was 4 years worth of your work leading up to that.
Right.
And then you were dealing with still static like images,
And like
right?
8 of them.
And yeah, and you were like now, I mean, think about back in the day, there wasn't a video of your car unless it was one of the, 3 traveling guys that went around and did like a video that was on their website, that was like
Hot Rod Hotline.
Hot Rod Hotline was where I was going to go with it. Yeah. But now, I mean, think what you can do with your own cell phone and post it straight. And the quality of that, do a full walk around. You can talk about your car and stuff. That should, I mean, that's taken for granted that
It is.
the tools, again, we're all lucky to be where we're at, but the tools we had at our disposal back then, not in the not so distant past,
Right. You know how it was. It was finish a car and it was like either Detroit or the Adams Market. Indy was that was the place, man.
That's it. Yeah.
That was like the defining place I can always remember.
Yeah. So you win the Riddler. Obviously, you come back to the shop. There's fireworks, there's
Strippers.
like strippers.
Yeah.
There's money,
Like money.
everywhere. Yeah, it's
I'm
like
not that cool.
like it's got like this Tony Montana thing. Like I'm sure it's
Piles of coke over here,
yeah,
piles of
money
cash
over here. It's like and you're just rich and famous, right? Or what's it like? Come back to the shop.
I
after
remember we
something like
left that next Monday, and my phone is ringing. It's like, how the hell do these people get my number? I don't really talk to a lot of people. I'm a pretty quiet guy, but my phone's just ringing off the hook, and it's like, what the hell? How did this happen? And I had a couple small projects lined up at the shop, but nothing huge. But man, it just, for some reason, it worked for us. And you know, I got a great team. I mean, Matt's been with me for how long?
Probably 9 years.
Yeah.
9 years this fall.
Matt actually started as a high school cleanup kid.
I was sweeping.
He was
floors.
sweeping.
You were in
floors.
high school when you started working?
Yeah, I was sweeping floors. Come at like 2:30 in the afternoon and sweep till 5 and clean and just do whatever.
My son's doing that shit right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you just show up and be like, I want to do cars. I love fucking cars. Or y'all doing some cool shit. I just want to be there like to hang out.
Well, so funny story. The first time I met Andy was at the World of Wheels in Omaha on Thursday, and I actually seen something about Detroit because it was 3 weeks earlier, and talked to him for a little bit there while he was cleaning it, and he was like, "Oh, hey, swing by the shop sometime." Gives me a business card, and the address on it was on West Center Road in Omaha, and so I drive out there, and I'm like, "There's no fucking car shop around here. What is this?" So I just
Got you good.
Yeah, got me good. I guess he didn't want to talk to me, so I just moved on about it. And then start school the next year, and I'm in an automotive class. And it's crazy, actually, how it all worked out because I'm in an automotive class in Omaha Public Schools, and my teacher, his wife worked in Bennington at Bennington Public Schools, and there was a poster on the wall that they needed shop help there. And so she sent a picture because he's an automotive teacher. He's got automotive kids. And he shows it to me. I'm like, hey, I know that shop. I'm gonna go out there and do that. And I went out there and I talked to them. And I got hired, and so it was crazy. It was like, yeah, it was just crazy.
So how long after the 40?
So the 40 was in 2013, and I got hired in the fall of 14.
Okay.
And are you still sweeping the floors?
Occasionally, I do. Yeah, but no, not
So
really.
let's roll through this because this is important,
this is
man. I mean,
interesting.
at this point, you're obviously a top fabricator, right?
No, I don't do fabrication.
Matt does a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so my background is in mechanical. I have a school in automotive mechanics, right? So associate's degree. That's what I really wanted to do, and I do a fair bit of that. But we've kind of had a need at painter, and so for the last couple of years, I've just been doing paint and body work in and out, and
So a little bit of everything.
yeah, I mean wherever we need to go.
And you're obviously doing it very well because you're doing it at the absolute top level. So I take it like when you came in and you're sweeping the floors, you just basically
shitty job.
You were like lethargic and you grabbed the broom
I
and you
held my
just
cell phone in
and you
one
just
hand.
kind of pushed the broom.
Yeah, cell
This is
phone in one
bullshit.
hand.
I don't want to sweep floors
Yeah.
anymore.
And you're
No
like, I want to
advancement
own this shop.
opportunities.
I want to own the shop. I'm gonna fucking push this broom and just like
No,
fuck
but
this
truthfully,
shit.
I probably asked an annoying amount of questions
Okay.
and stood around and talked way too long. But I just wanted to know. I was curious.
But you did a really good job sweeping the floors. I'm taking it. I'm guessing, right?
I've never heard.
So the thing with Matt is he's got his heart is in cars, and he's one of those guys you can just kind of show him something, he's got it figured out. He started painting I don't know, lose track of time. Let's say a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whatever, because we lost our painter. So Matt's like, I'll do it. So now when he steps in the booth, his name is Charlene Hutton. So,
Oh, that's
to,
awesome.
to piggyback on what Jeremy's trying to say, and he's going to a point because we've got probably at least a dozen stories very similar to Matt. Some of our
Yeah, we
top
do.
guys came in to sweep floors.
Yeah.
And we talk about it all the time. To steal one of John York's statements, how you do something is how you do anything.
Everything.
And how you do something is how you do everything. Are you sure? That doesn't sound as good.
Yeah, it sounds better.
Anyway, he said yeah. So that's the thing he says. So anyway, and we see it all the time. We're from the guys that have made it to where they're at now. leading the shop managers, best fabricators, best chassis builders. I mean, all over the place, running an entire fucking second facility from sweeping floors, taking out trash. But we've also seen the opposite side of that, right?
Right.
And to his point is, regardless of what your job is, you're always going to be wanting to advance. But if you can't do the job that you're doing right this very second at the absolute highest level, the best you can possibly do, then you're not going to get the next thing. We talk about it all the time. The thing is like, if you can't finish your plate, you're not going to get seconds, or you're not going to get dessert. You've got to finish your plate. You do everything that we're asking you to do perfectly.
Right.
Then you can get the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So it's a testament to guys out there wanting to get into this, because some people don't have, there's opportunities out there now that there wasn't when we were younger. However, it's very difficult. There's not like they're not teaching it in school. There's not a fucking book. There's not a website that says, if you would like to get into professional hot rod building, these are the things that you should do, right? There's not. So you've got to go to your local shop. You've got to do that. Have the passion. Be like, I'm not leaving until I'm just going to keep sweeping the floors. You don't have to pay me. I'm going to take the trash out and stuff like that, but I'm not going to leave. Right. So sooner or later, you're going to have to like start showing me something or call the cops, and
it's showing the work ethic and
right.
what you're capable of doing.
Right. If
that's going to go a long way.
If you look at I don't think like this isn't disrespectful to anybody else that works here, but look at like the top guys in our shop, almost every single one of them started as either sweeping the floors or building crates.
Right.
Parts manager, Blake.
The shop's never been as clean as when Blake
There
was
hasn't been a guy. I mean, Blake, granted, he's got like a great stature. He's gorgeous.
Handsome
dude.
Blake Stone.
Yeah, but I mean,
solid
dude,
name too.
This dude, he would like lift up a Polmax machine. Like and
sweep
drag
under
it out of the way to polish the floor underneath.
with a name like Blake Stone.
Right
Seriously.
out of high school.
You'd expect nothing less.
Right.
Stone.
I mean, sweating, working his ass off. Today, he's the parts manager and an absolute like instrumental guy, like at the Roadster shop. Everybody, Mike, Jimmy, Kyle, all those guys, they're guys that started at the absolute bottom, just had a passion for it and wanted to make something of themselves.
I mean, nothing against school, nothing against. I mean, McPherson does a great job. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. You can come into a shop with a briefcase full of work. This is the stuff that I've learned how to do. But at the same time, there's also something to be said of sweeping the floors, learning especially if it's a shop you're going to be at for a while, and this is the place, this is what I want to do. Learning it from the absolute bottom, all of the different nuances and all the different ways.
And at the end of the day, if you can't show up on time, you can't have a positive attitude, and you can't pay attention to detail, what are you going to do?
Right.
Yeah, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was good to go like through that path, because we get questions a lot from guys. How do I get into the industry, or what school do I need to go to learn metal fab to be able to go into a work at a shop like that? I mean, again, nothing against the schools. You don't have to.
No, you don't need
School of Hard Knocks is the best school around.
Show up to the shop that's doing it that you think is the best around, and like, what do you need? Because I don't know anything. I want to do what you need.
If it's your passion, you're going to find every way.
Yeah.
School might not be the thing. I mean, we've all hired guys that have years of Wyotech and whatnot. And
right.
There's more. Honestly, I've seen more success stories with people that just show up. Don't do any of the school stuff. Just show up. That's their passion, and
because that's the thing that you can't teach.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You either have that shit, or it was taught to you by your fucking old man.
Right.
Right.
And you don't come in thinking that you know everything. You go to college, and all of a sudden, I'm this badass. I know everything. I've got all this skill. I've done it before. Because
I've done like a bunch of little mini rear quarter panels for 40 Fords, and they're like really sweet.
And I never actually had to put them on a 40 Ford, though. Exactly. I just needed to look like 40 Ford finish.
Yeah, I mean, all that goes back to there's a certain level of like I've always said, you either got it or you don't.
Right.
And you recognize that pretty quick. Yeah. Like even if somebody comes in and is sweeping the floors, they've either got it or they don't. I mean, you probably know that like in 3-4 years, like this dude's going to be painting cars or be a top guy, but.
Or whatever you need him to do. Like you said, at the end of the day, there's a guy that you can trust to do whatever you ask him to do, wherever his skill set is, he's going to do the best job. If you say, I need you to stop what you're doing, hook up the trailer to the dually, and I need you to drive until you hit water and then meet a customer, he's going to do it the best. whatever it is,
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Aside from all the motivational stuff, which was pretty good, what's the next car comes after the 40 Ford?
So we did that little charcoal bubble top for Randy Wilcox. That was the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, that car had been started by a couple shops, and we took over that project. I'm sure you guys have done enough cars that have had multiple shops involved.
Those are the best ones to do.
Dude, they're so good because there's already stuff. Yeah, dude, there's already stuff done on
The
them.
more people that work on them, honestly, it's the better.
Yeah, different perspective.
Yes, right.
It's
Different
a more
way of doing
well-rounded car.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, well-rounded car.
No disrespect to anybody that touched that car previously, but we took that project over, and
Who were those people that touched the car before?
we'll chat about that later. No, that was the next car, and I'm kind of a 62 guy, so I love bubble
This is
tops.
baby.
I love bubble tops, and I love the hard tops and the sedans, and that 62s to me are just a pretty car.
Yep.
So we built that car, and that sucker came out swinging, and it was. And then we did that Bronco at basically the same time.
Yeah.
That 66 Bronco, which was kind of early in the 4x4 stuff before the Broncos really
The
hit.
Bronco was before the 62, wasn't it?
Actually, I think it was done.
Columbus and then SEMA.
Yeah.
The 62 unveiled at Columbus that summer, and SEMA was the Bronco
Yep.
in 15.
Yeah, we were talking about the Broncos. The Broncos a cool one because, like you said, that thing was so far ahead of anybody touching the 4x4 stuff and any high end 4x4 stuff. So what's that customer? Did he come to you just wanting I just want to restore my Bronco, and you're like, here's what we need to do, or is he like, I want a fucking nasty Bronco. I want the Bronco.
That talk was never had. Okay. It was actually he brought it to us to put a cage in it and fender
Put a
flares.
radio in it.
Yeah. And fender flares. That was it. And so we did those two things, and he's like, I think I'm gonna have you do more. And then then it was on. It just snowballed. And then we said we wanted to paint it brown and green. And he's like,
What the heck?
and he saw it and he's like, it's amazing. Rich was a great guy. Rich Gokenauer. That was his dream from day one, was that Bronco.
Yeah.
He's got some crazy pictures. He pulled that thing out of he had it in a river at one point. Like, not after we built it, before. He pulled out a river. It was all rusty. And what was the deal? It was in a flood in Sioux City. And I mean, there was some crazy pictures of that thing. It was in total disrepair when the build started.
He's right, because honestly, you have probably never gotten the credit you deserve for pushing that type of vehicle, 4-wheel drive, off-road Bronco, to that type of level that early, because it wasn't like the
5
next
years
year
before.
somebody came out. So it's like that happened, for everybody forgets about it. No, now it's a Bronco thing. I remember being there when the thing was debuted, and it was like, holy fuck, this thing's nice. But at the same time, it's like,
What the fuck's he doing at the
why? Like, who would do that?
I had a first gen Bronco that I did when I was like 17 or 18, and we put like 35 grand in it, and it was like, I'm never selling this thing for more than $8,000 that I paid for it originally. And then we see that, like, who the fuck would put that kind of money in a Bronco?
No offense, it was absolutely awesome. And I mean, the ideas and stuff, you're like, that's so cool to see what we're into, like, put into that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're kind of like, that's stupid. Why would anybody? That's going nowhere. Nobody's ever going to put that type of money in. And fast forward to who knew best.
It's crazy.
How many guys
I
are
don't
building
think-
$500,000 Broncos now? It's just everywhere.
And I don't think we intended for it to like launch the 4x4 scene out of the hot rod industry or whatnot, but we just did our thing on a
Tripped over
Bronco
that on
and
accident.
went to SEMA, and honestly, that's kind of what it was.
That's awesome.
Dude, how do you even make a Bronco like straight like that? Because there's so much crown in the doors and then
Every
nothing.
panel.
Scotch neckcloth.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. 3 cases of
Straighten her
Busch
out.
Light.
I think Adam Krause was involved in that. too.
Adam Krause and Scotch neckcloth. The two of them came out and they busted out the side of that thing in like a week and a half.
Damn.
The guys are animals.
It's only like 7 feet long, so there's not much body work
You
there.
just
But
stand in the middle and you just kind of
One block. Yeah, one block.
Get a big enough block, it's all right.
And so, I mean, obviously, you're talking about Riddler. You're talking about, Wilcox's bubble top. You're talking about the Bronco. You can bullshit if you want to, but has everything just been the next thing? The next thing? You're telling me there's not been a fucking hard time? There's not been oh man, what in the hell have we got ourselves into? It's just been, if it has, it has.
that's life. I mean, there's times that you're like, what are we doing here?
Probably twice a week, I think.
No, there's times. I mean, you know how it is. You've done something and you end up having to redo it, and that's all on your dime, and it's just like, I can do that, But it's cool. And that's what we do. And I'm truly blessed to have the guys that I have. I mean, Matt, Eric, and Paul, and I got there's about a dozen guys. They're awesome. I wouldn't be the shop would not be where it's at without these guys, Although my name, gets tossed out there.
Yeah, there's got to be a front man. That's just what it takes. But
it's a lot of these guys that make it happen.
How'd you build the team over the years? What was the mindset and the process to make that happen?
First, it started. I met Eric Hansen through a friend. Eric came over a couple nights a week, and I mean, it was clear from like day 2 that he was there. He's like, this kid's got it. So hired him right then and there, and he helped finish the 40. Then after that, I was like drawn through a friend, kind of the friend pool.
Yep.
Out of his friends. That pool dried up within a couple of years, and
Sure.
Then all of a sudden, you start getting people contacting you, and you bring some guys in for the 2 or 3 week trial period and see if they got it. And been through some
a lot
guys.
of them don't. Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is. A lot of guys, they want to build cars, but they don't know what's involved until they get into it, and then they realize this isn't for me. So
Somebody else doesn't like strip all the undercoating underneath or like cut the trans tunnels out. I thought that was all done before. I'm just ready here to do the sheet metal work part.
I want to build a cool hood scoop.
Yeah.
remember that we had a guy that worked for us for a little bit that didn't know a thing about cars, and we had him stripping undercoating on the bottom of a Lincoln one time. And
That separates the men from the boys.
he had some long hair.
I told him every day, put that stuff up. And he kept complaining he was rolling it in the creeper. He was catching it in the creeper, Hair. He, one day, I'm like doing something on the computer. I'm like ordering parts or something. I hear this noise and I turn around. Oh, what the fuck's going on back there? And he comes out from underneath and he's got my die grinder with a wire wheel on it, wrapped up in his hair, stuck to his goddamn head. Run a train track right up the center of his fucking forehead. He was wearing safety goggles at least, but he wouldn't. He refused to wrap his hair up. Told him for weeks.
There's no found out hot rods was not for him.
Oh,
Yeah. There's no shortage of characters.
You
in
gotta
this
love that.
industry.
Like, if we're talking about those and we're talking about undercoating, have I told the undercoating story?
I don't think so.
We'll leave him unnamed. Unnamed employee. We're undercoating a lot of cars, so we decided we're like looking around at SEMA, and we decided like, well, let's try one of those. They're selling these guns, and where it takes like a giant 2-part cartridge, that's like like basically like a panel bonder cartridge, but like 10 times the size. So we buy this gun, and the guy comes out and he demos it, and he's like, you got to warm it up first, right? So warm it up, otherwise it's gonna not, it's not gonna flow through the gun. So we go through this whole thing. At the time, this was like the #1 piece of equipment we had ever purchased. Like, this is like, just super stoked about this. So give it to the dude, unnamed employee, and say, all right, you got to warm up the cartridge. You got to do this. You got to do that. Make sure that, like, give it a little shot first to make sure that it's flowing. Otherwise, the cartridge is likely to explode.
A little foreshadowing there.
Yes. So fast forward, cartridge cartridge explodes. Okay, when cartridge explodes, just
Pretty well contained.
Yeah.
head to toe, curly hair, long curly hair, sheet metal equipment on this side of the lift where he's spraying undercoating, and I'm not even exaggerating. It looked like something out of a cartoon where just the eyes are blinking. And jet black with thick bed liner.
Well, it's easy to get off at least.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's
have
permanent.
my
I think
hair
that
from
was
like
like
6 months ago.
that was like 15 years ago. Probably still to this day. I'm sure he's randomly like, what is that? Oh, that's a little
Is that eczema? No,
Yeah,
that's rhino liner.
little piece of bed liner.
You can't get that stuff off.
So as you grew the team, were you looking to fill specific areas, or is it kind of a take what you can get?
Honestly, I think it's a take what you can get. Because if you find a guy with a passion, you can groom them into anything you want. And I don't mean to be like bossy about that or whatnot,
Right.
but if there's a guy that's truly passionate about it, he's going to do whatever it takes for the team
You
to
can
build
fill
the
the void that you had at the time.
And hey, let's call it what it is. not all of us know everything about a car. You know,
Right.
Sometimes you step into a project and you got to go in some uncharted territory here and just figure it out. So, there's a lot of that happens, and
Most of the time, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's because
We do it to ourselves.
we do it to ourselves.
yeah. Well, and we say that all the time. You guys do it too. You come up with these great ideas, and it's like,
Who the fuck thought of that?
Yeah.
sounds like a great idea until you're about 6 weeks into it. And
Yeah, even I say that like about ideas I came up with that I'm like,
all the time.
you get a little bit in it and you're like, shit, like, geez, that was not.
But it's what pushes. It's what
Right.
pushes. It's healthy,
And I like the challenge of that. I think
Yeah,
that's what drives me more than almost to the point where I'm so pissed that I want to quit.
Yeah, don't tell him no.
Yeah. Yeah, no is not that's not in the vocabulary of a successful hot rod builder.
Yeah.
You can tell him no, but he's going to do it anyways. He's going to find a way.
It's the challenge.
It's possible.
I don't really care
You
what
found a way to
everybody else thinks.
manipulate that yet?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
there is no way you're going to pay me
Yeah.
$400 an hour.
Oh yeah?
No way I'm getting
Watch
a raise.
this.
I'll try that one though. I haven't thought of it yet.
Let me know how it works out. I want commission.
And I don't ever think that it's like, oh, I want to one up somebody or show them.
Right.
It's just that personal.
It's the internal challenge, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a sick drive.
At the same time, you don't want to one up or like show off to somebody else. But at the same time, you also want the mutual respect.
Right.
Ego has gotten such a bad name, and ego in a bad way and used in a bad is bad. But ego in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's what's created everything that we utilize on a daily fucking basis, and it's what's pushed this industry and every other industry that we've had is because of fucking ego, right?
And I'll be driving Toyota Corollas.
Yeah, exactly. If everybody was like that,
That's pretty good.
that champagne Toyota Camrys, that's about as good as it gets. I'm not going to beat that, And fucking, trains, the first, or fucking horse. You know what? No sense in trying to build a fucking car because a horse is about as good as it gets. In a healthy manner, ego is what drives, and maybe it's the wrong word for it, but
I don't think so.
that it's inside you makes you drive for your company, for all of your employees.
Right.
And all of your employees drive the same exact way. And it's not that you want to crush, kill, destroy the guy next to you. It's that you want to push. They're going to push, and you're like, oh, that guy's pushing. Because then he's giving you respect that if you're doing your thing. If you're doing shittier and shittier cars, then that guy's like, I don't know how he's still in business. It's his thing, but he doesn't give you any respect.
Right.
Right.
And it kind of goes back to that competitive thing that's in the shop. It's not necessarily that we are having a competition, but let's say Matt does something. And you're like, holy shit. I'm super proud of him. And it's like, well, I gotta step my game up. And so it's just kind of this thing that just keeps building and building and building. And
I think what's missing out of all of those equations is telling that guy, dude, that's pretty fucking badass.
Yeah.
And that's everybody is guilty of the same thing because you can look at it and be like, that's fucking badass, but you'll say it to yourself and then you'll go over here and you'll try to do something cool. So he'll see that it's badass, but he's not going to tell you it's badass either.
Right.
So both of you, and that's just as a general rule, that's just life and men in general.
Yeah.
Is nobody saying like, dude, that like, pretty fucking cool right there.
yeah, you're not going to have a man crush on him.
Right.
Like,
And I think that would probably go a long way throughout the shop and throughout, in life in general, as being like, that's fucking good job on that.
that's something my wife, she puts up with a lot of this crap for this car stuff. She's an angel she's taught me, you gotta be very, very respectful of everybody. And I'm a quiet guy.
It's 2023.
I'm a very quiet guy. I would not necessarily talk to everybody, but
Sure.
it's my close circle that I call it. That it's taken a lot, and she got that out of me. You got to really tell that guy he's doing a good job and stuff. And because in the early days, I wouldn't do that. There's no way.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you're thinking it.
you're thinking it.
You're
Yeah.
looking at
You
it.
thinking
It's
it at
hard
the
to
end?
just even
It's just a
like just
weird
make the words
conversation.
come out of your mouth without
It's a
sounding
weird
like awkward
conversation
and
to have.
fake.
Right.
You're like,
On
"Yeah, that's
Friday when
fucking
you sign that
badass."
check, you're saying
Yeah,
you did a
thank
great
you.
job this week. Every week you did a great job.
And there are some guys too where like you almost need to like pat them on the back every day, otherwise they won't produce, they won't do anything. I don't know. Dealing with the personalities has got to be the hardest part of fucking business.
Well, the age group too is so different. Good grief, you got to think of. That's fine. Call me old and all that. I'll be 45 this year, right?
Oh, man,
Fuck.
So
that's my age.
Are you 45?
I'm 45.
Fuck, why does he look so much younger than you?
Probably better life choices, honestly.
he
If you want to get to the bottom of it, probably better
he
life
wears
choices.
it better than
This is Christmas of '96 right here.
But we all, I mean, we're in, let's see, 25 years ago, 27 years ago, you know, I was 18 years old or whatever. I think that's math is right. So 27 years ago, and we're employing guys that are 22, 23, 24, 25 years old. Those guys were treated differently at their first job, I promise you,
Right.
than my first job,
Oh, yeah.
right? And I never got to the point to where I required somebody telling me I was doing a good job, because if I didn't get my ass kicked,
Right.
or told that I was a fucking moron, then that meant I was doing an okay job.
Right.
Right.
You had that job.
Right. I had the job and I was allowed to show up the next day. Right. And I didn't maybe get tumped over in the porta-john on the construction site, or I didn't get swacked with a 2x4 or something like that. That meant I was doing okay. I hadn't fucked anything up. Right.
Right.
But these kids, you fast forward 27 years, the workplace, wherever they've come from, the way they were parented, the way they grew up in school, all that shit has changed.
It's different.
Think about your coaches in sports, the way they talk to you then,
Yeah.
and the way they talk to them now.
Yeah.
Oh, they'd be in jail now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, smoking a cigarette no matter what, and
Right.
yeah. And you're whether, I'm not saying it's right or wrong or better or worse. It's just things have changed. So by the time you get into the work environment, kids nowadays at 22, 23 years old haven't had the same.
They're soft.
Yeah, they are. They're softer, right?
Right.
And they have been used to being told that they did a good job, so
You're
they're
that crotchety old man.
expecting it. No, I'm just
Got a
saying
trophy
it,
for everything.
it is different. It is different. We don't understand it, but we have to be cognizant of it if we want to continue to succeed and employ guys of that age. You got to understand that they're, again, nothing right or wrong about it.
Right.
It's just different. But
It's constantly changing.
yeah, it is. It is. We were talking, I think a couple podcasts ago, we were talking about the EV thing and stuff like that. And we said our piece, and that's fine. But it dawned on us, I think that we are the old men. Remember when you go to the car shows and be like, 17s? I'm not putting 17s on. LS, I don't need. Give me a carburetor.
I didn't put one of those modern Corvette
I
motors.
can't even tune it. Give me a carburetor. I can tune it.
We
I
call them
think
DOMs around our shop.
DOMs.
Dumb old men.
I think we're becoming the dumb old men.
Or gold chainers.
Gold chain.
gold
yeah.
chainers.
I think we're becoming those guys.
You think so?
Because we're like, we embrace technology to a point, but at the same time, the more cutting edge or bleeding edge it is, you're like, fine, I'm not putting that shit in my car.
A car that doesn't make noise. What's the fuck the point?
I get it. I 100% get it.
I'm 27. I can say it. Or 26. I can say that.
What if he painted it like a candy brandy wine?
It wouldn't make me like it anymore, but I mean, we were, I'm not going anywhere with that.
No, that's an interesting conversation though, because it has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all rolling around in the back of station wagons. You see that happening nowadays?
Oh yeah.
I was rolling around the back of a pickup truck.
A covered wagon.
That was Alabama.
Well, it was Alabama, but still. Have you seen a change in your customers, age group wise, and wants, needs, wishes?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot younger guys.
Yeah, we were as well.
There's early 40s and stuff.
Yeah.
So, everybody's had this talk of where is it going? What's going to happen? Obviously a lot of the older guys are funding a lot of this stuff, but the younger guys are stepping up. They're in their 40s and having success, and there's still guys die hard into this. So I think it's just it's just going to keep going.
Oh, I think it's, to be that old guy, I think it's just getting started, because those younger guys don't have a lot of these younger customers we're seeing are newer to the industry.
Right.
So the older guys that we were dealing with 15 years ago have had 15 cars built, or they built them cars themselves. Right. They've got a body of work. They've got something that they're working with. The younger guys now, they'll be like, that's fucking cool. I want one.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they're like, I want it to do this. And 1,000 horsepower. So y'all do 1,000. What about 1,200 horsepower? 1,500 horsepower sounds good. And instead of building one car, what if we build 3 cars? Like it's different. It's a different.
Yeah, there's been a change in the guards for sure. I would have thought that like the industry was on its way out, 5-6 years ago. And it definitely has I mean, it's really taken off, and our clientele, I mean, it's mostly guys in their 40s to 50s now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's wild because it like when it first started, you notice it was like instant gratification. Like those guys, like I've either got to have it right now or I don't want it at all.
Right.
But now it's changed a little bit. You know, that like those dudes in their 40s and 50s, they're getting into it. You know, they're like, let's build this. When it's done. And I'm like, they're very career driven and probably wildly focused on what they're doing to be able to afford said car. But I think there's a lot more patience now and a lot more appreciation of like the industry.
Don't you think they're less worried about like if it will be accepted or cool? Because you had the guys back in the day, it's like, oh man, I don't know if I could go that color, or I don't know if we could go that big a wheel. You know, now it's like, oh fuck, that'd be cool. Yeah, and they're not, because again, it's not like they're worried about their group of guys from, you know, NSRA or wherever they've been at and some like accepting that car. They're just like, they're in it and they trust in the vision and they want to push the envelope. It's a different.
Well, and almost no matter what you build, you put on the internet, you're going to find somebody who is going to be behind that, right?
Oh,
There's
yeah,
going to be a group
fun.
of guys, right? So like a 40-year-old guy, he's got Instagram.
Right.
He's got fucking Facebook.
And you're also going to find the guys that aren't into it. That's the cool part.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Isn't it interesting too, though, how this transitions? Like, if you'd have told me 20 years ago that we'd be building a Wagoneer, I'd be like, "You're full of crap."
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we're building
it's cool as hell.
Jeep
And there's
Wagoneer.
stuff. I'm sure there's stuff you guys are building. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
same thoughts. You're like,
Grand National.
Yeah.
Yeah.
big Grand National. That's never would have thought. Never.
OBS truck, 79 Camaro.
It's the changing. You can call me old again. That's fine.
We do.
We're all getting old though. You got to realize how long we've been doing this for a while, and things are fucking changing.
yeah.
20 years is a long fucking time, man. And customers, you know, get younger, new customers coming in, and they're into other things. When's the last time that you've had somebody come in and be like, I want to do a 37 Ford, or I want to do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, we went years before we heard an early car.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we're starting to see that come back a little bit. It's coming back.
I think they're cool, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the majority of the customers we're dealing with, whatever.
that
That's
anymore.
not, there's,
No, they're, yeah,
it's not nostalgic for them. It's not, I remember seeing one of those driving when I was going to high school, you know, it's Z28, you know, it's a third gen, or it's a
the bigger cars.
bigger
I mean,
cars.
It's like the older we get, the more you appreciate the bigger cars or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's like the Pontiac you guys did. I mentioned that earlier. That is like the baddest car to me you guys ever done. I absolutely love that thing.
Appreciate that.
That's right up. I mean, you nailed it.
Thank you.
But who would have thought years ago,
Oh, never.
say 20 years ago, that car, you crazy? You know?
Yeah.
65 Catalina.
Yeah.
Yeah, who the fuck's going to build that?
Right.
But no, that car is amazing.
Killer. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Drooled over that for like, they had to wipe it off at the Bear Brakes booth.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
In there.
Dude, well, at your age, I mean, I'm curious, how do you, like, you can get down with, like, you're doing a 60 Invicta, you're doing, like, you can relate to that? I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
those cars, you're like, fuck, yeah, I love this era car.
that's a beautiful fucking car. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
anybody looks at a 60 Invicta and doesn't think it's cool. They're crazy as hell.
Dude, there's probably guys your age that are like, what the fuck is that?
Would I-
It looks like
What's a Buick?
looks like
Probably.
it looks like a spaceship. Buick's not even around anymore, right?
no, yeah.
Or are they?
Still around.
Are they?
Yeah,
They're
they
hipping
killed
it up.
all
You haven't
that.
seen the commercials?
Okay, I
Yeah.
don't- yeah.
Is
Is that a
Pontiac
Buick?
is a
Is that
Pontiac,
a Buick?
right?
They're doing the Grand National.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm like, to be honest with you, I want a 34 Ford. I'd love to have a 33 or 4. Like, be my dream.
For what reason? I'm not saying about the car, but why do you think that is that you like that? Was there a memory back in the day, or is it something about being, it's so different than what everybody else is doing now? Is it hardcore?
Is there
No.
one particular car that you're like hung on?
There's that one of the Rolling Bones cars. I can't remember which number it is now, but I mean, Rolling Bones says it all. I mean,
So you're like
You
a
just see those.
Pearson Brothers coupe, SoCal coupe, kind of that chop.
yeah.
Like, is that what?
Well, like, because you could really get carried away chopping them. And like, you know, Eric that works with us, he wants the window to be this big. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you chop it 10 inches? You can't drive. It looks fucking cool. Don't
You can
get me
drive
wrong.
it, just no stoplights or anything. But I mean, you can drive it.
Why would you change lanes?
Yeah, exactly.
You'll
Who
know
needs
if
to see
it's
what's
not
over your
safe.
shoulder? Yeah, you're gonna hear it. But no, I don't know. They're mean. They got good stance. They're done right. I've always loved them.
It's a hardtail chopper. I mean, there's something fucking badass about doing a hardtail, and I mean, I get it. I think they're still cool. I was interested. No right or wrong
Yeah,
answer.
no.
A guy your age being like, yeah, that's badass. It's I think the future's bright if somebody like that's in.
Bring it back.
It's
Yeah.
all.
I'm
It's
just
all.
waiting for all those cars to become like cheap again. So
That's
they
what
can
I'm
buy
waiting
Yeah,
them
it's
and-
not happening.
Yeah,
Get all the
they're
museum
coming down.
cars.
They're coming down, not fast enough,
Yeah.
but they are coming down.
Dude, I've got a 3-window 33 coupe sitting in the trailer out there.
Let's make a deal.
It's rough, but it's
Room in
usable.
the trailer.
I'm rough.
There's room in the trailer, right?
We can make
There's a
room.
quarter inch on each side.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's quartered, isn't it? So you can just kind of.
No, it's a full. It's sitting on a chassis. It's like channeled over a random ass. It's
been there for like
20 years at least.
Not a roadster shop frame.
It was like some random rails that were like pinched and like it's not a complete chassis, but the body's usable. It's just no floor, no like clean. The roof and everything's clean. Might have your name on it.
Is it interesting to you guys that when you get a build, somebody comes to you, let's say for a chassis or even a full build, that maybe it's not a car you have ever thought of, but they present it to you and then you're like, you're all in on it. Like
yeah.
everybody presents, I mean, I like all cars. It doesn't matter what it is. I find beauty in every single one of them, even if it's the weirdest, ugliest, dumbest thing ever.
Yep.
But isn't it fun how somebody can bring you a car that you'd never thought of?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden that's like your obsession. And that's like, oh, I'm going to do it.
Well, a
You know?
fucking Jeep Wagoneer is a prime example.
Yeah.
You told me a Jeep Wagoneer, 68 Wagoneer. Like, who the fuck wants to build a 68 Wagoneer?
I think that was the one. Didn't we get in a bidding war with you guys on eBay with that?
Oh, that was
That was
you
a
guys.
turquoise one.
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
going to buy it.
Yeah.
We kept jumping it to the moon, everybody. It's like,
Yeah,
We bought another
Does
one.
Travis know about that?
And
yeah, he does.
it hasn't been touched since. Killer, all original white one. I wanted the turquoise, but it's just sitting over in the storage unit.
You're so right on that though. The Catalina was the same way. It's not like I wasn't seeking out a 65 Catalina to be like, this is the baddest ass car. Nobody's done it. We've got to do this. Barry, the customer, he had some, childhood memory or teenage memory of one and floated it my way. And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. That will absolutely, that thing will be sick. And then you get lost in it. I mean,
Yeah, you
you're
do.
like,
You
I think
do.
it's the challenge of making it cool and putting your spin on it,
Right.
or like the blank canvas that nobody else has done it.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Even
It's
the
cool. Go ahead.
the Grand National is the same way. I fucking hated like
You're weird.
G body Grand
Yeah,
National.
we all made fun of G-Body.
Yeah, I was just never into like as a kid. I was a
Got the
muscle.
boogaloo in the back.
Right, I was a muscle car guy.
Y'all were never in Alabama.
Right. No.
Obviously.
Yeah. I was a muscle car guy. Those were like those and Fox bodies. I was not into them. But
G bodies and K cars, right?
yeah, then when you start looking at it, and you're like, it's kind of sinister. It's pretty badass.
Yep.
And then you get like so focused
Yeah.
on it.
Well, it is crazy, like you said, though. The customer, and that I think goes with the customer's age changing, but the customers also have to they're bringing you some stuff. I hope this doesn't sound the wrong way, but the customers also have to kind of convince you or sell you on doing this project. And that's not what it wasn't that way.
Right.
The tables were turned 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And now it's kind of like, I've selected you, and there's so many shops that have so many different styles. That's the great part. I've selected you because I've seen your previous, and I want you to do your thing on this type of car. I know that it's probably a little weird, but hear me out. I've got this, and this. I want you to do this. And you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, the challenge. I think that's going to be great. Nobody's done something like that. And versus being like, running into a guy at a show and you hear that, hey, I heard you're wanting to get, your 37 built, I can do that. I can build a 37, we can do it like a tune port and stuff. It'd be awesome.
Fucking tune
Well, I
ports
think-
where it's at.
IROC wheels. And
He has
think
street and performance kit on there.
I think the customer's enthusiasm and interest, though, plays a big role in that.
It does.
Like if a guy just sends you like a Saab right? Like out of the blue, just Saab. I'm this dude. I just sent you a Saab, build it. I've got like unlimited budget. Well, no, I'm just picking something that's random, right? But if that dude's like so fucking passionate about Saabs, you know, and he's in the shop and he's like, dude, he's like, I'm telling you, fucking, I know a Saab sucks.
So Rick Love calls you and says, I want to do a Saab.
It's like, we're going to put a Gen 5 in it, right?
It's gonna be
Doesn't Rick Love look like a Saab guy?
Dude, I'm never going to be.
green
I am
saddle
never
interior.
going to be able to reach out to Rick for a favor.
We told him that when he was on here.
Yeah,
he
we
knows
did.
that.
But you know what I'm saying?
all in
Like
good fun.
when the customer is passionate about it, like
Right,
it makes it so much easier to get. If it's something like a little off menu item or something that's a little unusual.
A good customer can change the whole build, right? Like changes your attitude towards the build, changes everything involved.
Yeah.
They give you carte blanche to just kind of run with it.
I don't know about a Saab, but yes.
That's
tracks.
This is kind of a little same topic, a little different maybe, but same thing. We're doing this Wagoneer for Travis, younger guy. I don't even think he's 40 yet, like 38 or something.
He's made smarter life choices than we all have.
He is. Yes. So we're doing a Wagoneer for him, and then we're starting this 54 Maserati for him. It's this dream thing that Eric Black. We need to give Eric Black some credit here. Eric Black's a stud.
Yeah.
He's another guy you need to have on here.
We're planning on it.
Yeah, he's as good as they come. And Eric had presented this drawing to me of this Maserati. I'm like, oh hell yeah, you know. He's like, but you got anybody that would want to do this? And I presented it to Travis, and I mean, it was like I didn't even get the sentence out of my mouth, and he's like, yes, when we starting, you know. And it's a total hand built thing that Eric Black came up with. And
I don't even know what a 54 Maserati looks like.
I'll show you
Me
a
either.
picture.
It's crazy.
It's
And it's going to be, you know, they made like 5 of them. You know,
they made 4 of them.
4 of them. Yeah. And this one's going to be like 10 or 12% larger so that Travis can actually fit in it because they're just tiny. little
They came
cars.
right after 53.
Yeah.
The 53.
If you saw 53, you'd know.
You know,
Thanks for clarifying.
Just trying to help out. And then 55s came after, right?
No, actually 56 and then 55.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
changed.
backed up,
Maserati
right.
flipped it around.
But I guess there's a perfect
That's
example.
Italian years.
I knew nothing about a Maserati of that genre, that era, until now, and then I'm so into that thing. And I'll show you guys a picture of
That's
this
going
thing.
to be cool.
Dude, I think that's, to me, that's like what drives me. You know, like we tend to get more chassis stuff like that. Like the Rings are doing a 65 rolls.
The rolls.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And it's like, you know, it shows up and you're looking at it because to scan and do a chassis for it. And you're looking at it and you're like, this is really cool. Like, so I really get into that stuff. We're doing a Diamond T.
Yeah.
You know, an early Diamond T. Like, dude, I would never in a million years seek out a Diamond T to be like, this is fucking cool. Let's build a Diamond T. But you get into it and it's like you're driven. You know, I want to do I want to like
Well,
make
it's problem solving too.
yeah, the
'Cause you're
baddest
solving
ass
problems.
Diamond T. And then you look around, you're like, oh, this dude built a Diamond T. Like,
His kind of sucks. My Diamond T is way better.
right, that's not that cool.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's the problem solving.
It is.
That's the sick passion right there.
It is. It's
You know? And we're our worst own enemy.
You create problems to solve.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
And you know, I'm sure you guys have all said it. It's like, why did we overcomplicate this? You know, but
Yeah.
then in the end, when you figure it out and you nail it, it's like, yeah,
It's the push. I mean, it's no different than in any other creative world or industry or, you know, workplace. I mean, deal with it with, you know, a tattoo artist, the same thing. You know, they could make a really good living because they've perfected whatever,
Right.
A, B, or C or whatever, but they want to continue to learn and push the envelope and make it harder and harder and harder to scratch their own itch.
yeah.
And some people have that drive, and some people will just want to type in a cubicle.
And
all
there's
day.
and that's
there's nothing
fine.
wrong with it.
Right.
But it's just a different kind of person.
Yeah, it is. So jumping through, we've gone all over the place. And so I think we
Hit
solved
some pretty good.
We're
dips.
solving
we've
the world's
solved
problems.
most of the problems of the industry, honestly. I mean, we're kind of done now.
I was going to say world, not just industry.
Oh yeah, the world. So the Invicta, right? You talked about, you know, George seeked you out. You know, you had a great. At that point in time, are you thinking about this any different than you've thought about any other builds previously?
When he first said 60 Buick, honestly, I like went to the bathroom. What the hell's this thing look like? You know, I kind of knew what it was, but it's one of those. It's like, well, better before I say something. Better
If he'd have said Pontiac, you'd have known.
Honestly, probably not.
Really?
No, I mean the 5960 cars. That's my wheelhouse. I love those cars. It's in the 62 stuff, but the Buick. Honestly, I kind of knew what it looked like, but I had to kind of look it up real quick, and it's like,
refresher.
oh, hell yes, such a weird car. Why wouldn't you do that? It's got lines on it. It's already.
Oh, it's a gorgeous car.
It's badass from the get go. Just put the right stance and tire sizes and
Just
attitude
needed
to
a little
it.
bit of loving.
Do you think they need to bring back Custom Rodder magazine?
They should.
You remember Custom
Yes,
Rodder?
I did.
That's all these cars that we're
that a
talking about
Buckaroo?
right now. No, Custom Rodder was that was a
Prime Media?
Prime Media. That was big ass cars on the ground with wheels. That's
Two-toned.
yes.
Two-tone.
That shit got me.
Tweed
a,
interiors.
a Starliner or a Buick or a bubble top. That was the shit.
I'd love to do a Star.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, that's the problem. Somebody can spit a car out, and it's like,
Oh,
hell
yeah,
You know,
fuck
and then 5 minutes later, it's something else,
Yeah.
and then it's like it never ends. you
Yeah.
know?
So sorry,
Car
just started to
ADD.
derail.
That's all good.
So you're rolling through the Buick, and you're like, yes, absolutely. I love the body style. I love that. Is the thought process mentality what we're going to do with this build the same? Just repeat the same, or are you thinking I want to do something I've never done before? I want to push the envelope, or is it just like I want to give this guy the best car that we can build?
I think it's more give the guy the best car he can build. We can build. We all have our certain styles, and that's why that guy chooses us.
Sure.
Chooses you guys, and obviously the Buick is a weird car, and it's a
You're a
challenge.
weird guy.
I'm
So
a weird
it
guy.
makes- it
I'm
makes-
a weird guy. Yeah, just
Perfect fit.
match made in heaven. But no, it's the challenge of it,
Right.
Like we keep bringing up, and
The challenge of it to make, I mean, I think what you've done, again, I've never seen the car in person. I've seen pictures only. But I think I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth, and I hope I'm not, making up shit. But what you've done in picture wise anyway, with the quality level, and also it to be potentially General Motors, Autorama, show car,
Concept-y.
Yeah, concept-y, but it's not, otherworldly or any kind of futuristic or like you're trying too hard. I don't know. It's like it's the perfect level of all those things,
well, thanks, thank you.
I don't know if
That's the goal.
I don't know if that made any sense.
No,
but
it totally did, because that's what we were after. I mean, I guess if you look at the style that we like the very timeless, just not so much in your face stuff, but just the car that you walk up to and you start notice it, and then you're like, oh shit, it just draws you in.
Yep.
That's what I like. And
well, we talked about it on a couple of podcasts. I don't know if you've heard it. I mean, the fact that you do like 4 sun visors. I mean, that's a two.
Well, we were having a field day with that.
That's a fuck you. It's
at Jeremy Carlson's expense.
yes, from Avant-Garde.
Avant-Garde, because he fails to give us front sun visors, and you had 4. So we let him know. We let him know.
You
that,
had exactly 4 more sun visors than we get.
Most cars are bad.
oh, it went on and on and on.
But in 6, that was a rare option. So
Was it
you
really?
could- that was an option.
Yeah.
Those
Took
are
me-
that's factory. Those are factory sun visor
shit.
mounts and everything for the rear.
is cool.
That's a rare option. That's why we did it.
As good as you've like become at Cal Auto, you can't figure out the mic thing.
Sorry.
You've got to do. This is what records us talking. I'm
it's
just
just
giving you
Matt.
shit. I'm
Just Matt.
Just Matt.
The best things you say are like this. I'm just giving you shit.
He hasn't spit one of his one-liners out yet. You just wait. It's
I'm
coming.
waiting. I'm waiting. He seems like he's a one-liner guy.
Oh, he ripped one today that was just like, where in the hell did you come up with this?
And so the rear sun visors was an actual dealer option.
Yeah, they're
So I have a 59 Olds 2-door hardtop that had them. I didn't know they existed until I purchased that car. And it took me 5 years to find that other set that's in that Invicta.
The rears are
badass.
different. They're not.
no,
It's
they're
a different visor.
different
Yeah.
mount.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Because why would
to lose
why
more
would
money?
you just make? That's so fucking stupid.
Because they don't swivel. They just fold straight down.
Okay.
They don't swivel over to block the sun from the side or anything.
They're so impractical, but they're the coolest thing ever.
Oh,
They really are.
It looks awesome. Honestly, it does, and that's a great. I didn't even know that it was a factory thing. I thought it was. It was done in a
your
way
idea
that looked like it could have been factory.
Yeah.
But
I like all that weird, goofy stuff like that. Import that weird, rare stuff that just nobody knows about or thinks
Swing out
about.
tissue dispenser.
Yeah, I was gonna say like swamp cooler and a tissue dispenser. Yeah,
We're only missing the vacuum light system, right, for your cigarette.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
Suck
see
the-
those in the early Fords?
Yeah, sucking under
Ever see those?
the engine bay.
No, in the dash.
Oh, I thought you dye it out and it sucks it up into a can in the engine bay, right?
Yeah, and then you can stick your cigarette in the dash and it lights your cigarette for you
Oh, okay.
because it pulls vacuum through the cigarette. So you never seen that?
No, I thought you were talking about the ones
Early
where
Fords, they was like an option. You could put it in the dash. Vacuum line goes to the engine, and it's got like your little coil for a cigarette lighter. And you push the thing in, you stick the cigarette in, you let go, you pull it out, cigarette's lit and ready to smoke. You don't have to because it's pulling vacuum through it the other way to light it.
That's
dude, I'm starting to like.
My truck doesn't have that.
Yeah, well, no one's supposed to smoke anymore. It's a bad. idea.
I don't want to like let this be a compliment to you, but like cigarette smoking might need to make a comeback. You know, with all the toxic shit that's going on nowadays, like it's a little bit old
I've
school.
been trying to bring it back.
It's like, you know,
Let me tell you something. It's not met with.
like it goes back to our core values.
You want to talk about treated like somebody with leprosy? Start smoking. You are not accepted.
I mean,
When it
you're-
used to be, you could just walk out front. Now they got like a whole designated smoking area. You got to walk a quarter mile to go smoke
dude,
somewhere.
in Phoenix, you're not allowed to smoke in Arizona, and like
you gotta go south.
it doesn't matter where you're at.
Over the border?
15 feet from the thing. Oh, you walk another 5 feet. 20 feet from the door. I'm 20 feet from 30 feet from the door. Where the fuck can I smoke? I'm outside. Yeah. So we derailed.
We struck a nerve.
Smoking is cool though. For all you kids listening.
Yeah, my son listens to this podcast.
They didn't
right?
have all them ads and magazines for no reason.
Back to the 60. Yeah, we're gonna get back to that. We're gonna circle back. We're gonna circle back to the 60.
Circle back to
It's a
it.
Buick 60.
I want to see you circle back.
1960 Buick Invicta.
Yeah, that's the car we were talking
Right.
about.
So I gotta say that was one of the few, like, you're in this industry a long time, right? And you're so accustomed to seeing vehicles, and you go into car shows, and you become like numb to it, right? It's very difficult to be like impressed by something.
Oh, another 69 Camaro?
Right. Yes, exactly. You know what I'm talking about. That car was one of the few cars I've like been genuinely like following and wondering about and excited to see released. You know, because I follow the stuff you do. I'm a fan of what you build, and I was very stoked, I guess, to say, what's this car? What's this thing gonna look like, man?
Yeah.
It's just like you had some teasers out. The car was out in bare metal a little bit,
And then it went a different direction.
dude. But
I think that's what we kept it kind of secret for a while. We took it to Pomona and bare metal, 3-4 years ago. And it was more kind of pro touring ish, which isn't me, but we just kind of took it to show basically what the car was. And then, and I know, BBT Troy, he even texted me. He's like, that is not what I expected. You know, I got that text from quite a few guys, and it's like, that was kind of the fun part. We just hit it for a while, and I don't know.
Oh, I didn't have like expectations on style wise. I just had expectations on quality wise. Obviously, I haven't seen it in person. I mean, there's no question to the quality that it is. But it was there wasn't like a gray lined box that I thought that it was going to be in. It was just kind of like, this is obviously
It's
your
gonna
body
be
of work.
something.
This is going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
You know?
well, thank you.
And then seeing that, but that's like you're saying, that kind of sucks in a way that,
well, it's a massive compliment to you, but it also sucks in the way for the industry.
Yeah,
that's what you're
'cause it's
saying.
like-
Over the past 4 or 5 years, I can't think of a vehicle or a builder that I'm like, oh fuck yeah, dude! Like I hear they're bringing it out this year. I can't fucking wait to see this. That was the car. Like really,
Well, thank you,
like,
guys.
We
I mean,
were,
that's-
yeah. I'm like, dude, it's coming out. It's going to the Roadster show this year. I can't wait to see this thing. It's gonna be fucking badass.
no, there's a few cars. I mean, I think Troy's Firebird, when you knew what seats in the metal of work and stuff like that, you get, kind of excited about things coming. I was meaning more, it's like, it sucks for you or the other shops when you feel like, if he's saying this, yours feeling the same way, other shops feeling the same way. It's like, again, that ego part of it's like, like they're expecting something. It's difficult to live up to that. Like, at the end of the day, you just got to be true to yourself. Do what you want to do. Make the customer happy. As long as you're making the customer happy, who the fuck cares if anybody else likes it?
He believed in us. I mean, he just let us do whatever. And I mean, George is awesome. Angie, we told him we were going to paint it green, and Angie's like, "Fuck no, it's not going green."
She hates green.
And then we sent a paint color, and she's like, "Okay." And then we sent interior samples. She's like, "Green? Are you kidding me?" So,
Isn't it always that way? The one color you want to paint it, like there's some that's the absolute color that the customer hates, the wife hates, somebody. Yeah.
But there was two things with that I thought of when you were saying some of that. And thank you for all those kind words. That means a lot coming from you guys. It really does. So again, it couldn't happen without my team. You know, that's like 30 people involved in that. Everywhere from Eric Black to every one of my guys. Everybody had input in that car. It's not. I don't want to make it sound like I'm calling the exact shots, because it's something that it's a group effort. We all talk about it and decide that, that's what we're going to do. But I think that was the first car that we've ever finished about an hour before we put it in the trailer and left. I mean, it came down to the wire. It was brutal. I mean, brutal. And
it's interesting. You have plenty of time.
Yeah.
We usually
never experienced that before.
Yeah, we usually like schedule like a nice Applebee's dinner after we finish the car before we go to the show.
There's a rat in my Cobb salad.
But that was the first car where about an hour before we left, it was done, and we all just stood around it, and there was like not a sound in the shop. Everybody's just like, "Holy shit!"
Oh, wow.
And even I'm like, "Holy crap, look at that thing." And it was just like,
cool.
No, it was a really cool moment, because it was like, I mean, we literally had like 18 people standing around it in a circle.
And 8 hours before that, I was convinced it wasn't going to get done.
Yeah.
What was the difference between Grand National going for the Slonaker and fast forward, close to 10 years ago for the 40 at Detroit?
So the Buick was supposed to be a Detroit car. And
you don't have to worry. Like, there's like 8 people that listen to this. So you can say whatever.
4 of them are in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I tried talking George out of it. It was like a 2-year deal. He kept saying, "Let's go Riddler, let's go Riddler." I'm like, "No, let's not do that. Let's just build a really nice car." And then finally I like caved. "All right, we'll build Riddler car. Cut the rear end out of this thing and cut the floor back out of it, and here we go." So that's what we did. And then I think it was when we went to the Detroit in 17 with that little Model A that we built that I think just nobody got it. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, that's still one of my favorite hot rods ever built.
Well, thank you.
Sick.
It just like right over their heads. They had no clue. And some of the comments that were made, it's like, why would we come back here again?
Yeah.
You know, you got a car show that we all grew up. That was the holy grail of all things. You know, I mean, the Don Riddler Award.
Yes.
There's nothing bigger.
Right.
And then you got these guys, and they're all great guys, but this thing's got to transition, man. It's 2023. Or back then it was 2017, and it's like,
shit, it's fucking 2009.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It is.
You know, I mean, you can't have the same 1970s rules. Nobody wants an ISCA car anymore. No. There's a very select few that want that reveal model kit or whatever.
Yep. Right.
That doesn't happen today. Come on. I mean, you guys are in the business. You guys build the chassis that make these things work.
Sure.
Right.
You're not getting a phone call saying, "Hey, build me a chassis. It looks really cool." I don't want it to work.
Completely not functional.
Yeah.
I would be more fine if they built a car that didn't work that actually looked good.
Oh, so we're just
we dive right into that, huh?
yeah, we're just fucking going.
Josh likes to tiptoe around a little bit before he gets to the point.
But it's kind of sad, isn't it? Because we all grew up with that.
Is.
That was the deal.
I'm tired of tiptoeing around it.
Well, it's not going to
you
change.
did.
You know, I might catch grief for this too, but it's not going to change.
No, it's not.
They've had their chances, you know, and
I think that because so many people have said the same things that we're saying, it's almost like an like,
We're not changing.
nope.
yeah.
We'll
Stick
show
in the
you.
ground.
Right.
And that's the nice thing about Pomona. It's builders. There are guys who know what they're looking at. They've built cars before. They understand. You can tell them, we went through this, this, and this, and they go, "Oh shit, well, how did you overcome this?" They can see the steps. They know, like, this is everything that you've come through. Right? Like, those guys in Detroit, they've never done it.
And that was Matt from Cal Auto that said those guys in Detroit have never done it. I just wanted to
just Matt.
Yeah,
It's just Matt.
it was interesting.
Take it for me.
It was interesting to see that. I mean, it's a total difference this year in the Slonaker, you know, the Roadster show versus Detroit. Like, you know, again, I don't want to like pile on and to your negativity, but
Yeah.
I mean, the Roadster
You're
show
above that.
is just loaded
It is.
with
Yeah.
crazy high end stuff.
It is.
For the last
look at
3-4
the-
years.
It's
Look at
what
the
they set
names of
out
the
to
builders
do.
who
They said
are
they were
showing
going to
up.
do it, and they did it.
Yeah, you got John Buck and Bob Florine that are they're pumping this, and all the guys are you got Scotty and Dave judging, and Troy Ladd was in there. I mean, you just rattle off the list. You got guys.
Dave Lane did it for a couple of years. I mean, who's better to judge a fucking hot rod than Dave Lane?
You know, it's like Bobby Alloway. Bobby Alloway looks at a car. We all respect Bobby Alloway. He's like the godfather or whatever.
right.
You know, I mean, he looks at a car like that, and it's like,
Yep.
how the hell do you look at that thing that fast? You know.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Right?
If it has the look, it has the look.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care about a checklist.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Right.
checklist means bad shit happened. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But it's really sad. Thankfully, the guys out there in Pomona got it figured out, and that's a huge positive for our industry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think they got a really good thing.
Yeah, I honestly didn't mean to go like down the weeds of that. I meant for a builder and for your team and for your customer. You've been on both sides of it. What was your gut? What was your stress level? Was it different between the two?
this year, you mean?
Yeah, this year versus with the 40
So the 40. Let's back up to then 2013.
or the Model A. I mean, either one.
We'll start with the 40. So and that was the first car that I had done alone. You know, before it was when I was at Troy's. Troy's calling the shots. He's got all the stress. I don't have to worry about it. You know.
I did my job. It's
Yeah.
fucking on him.
Yeah. You know, now you fast forward to 2013, and I'm a wreck. Because what if I forgot that little 90-degree fitting or something at the last hour that you can't get for 4 more days or something? Or you know, what if we forgot something that we forgot to ship it to advanced plating or something? And you know, whatever. You know,
Josh will figure it out.
yeah, Josh will figure it out. Yeah.
Another Nebraska boy.
Yeah. No, he does not like that at all.
He's Kansas, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He
Kansas, yeah. But no, and so the stress level there was completely different. And I'm sure it's no different when you guys jumped in business. You know, it's, this is what I want to do. But you get into business and you learn all these different things. It's like, whoa, I didn't know that came with it.
Yeah, it's like 90% of the shit you weren't thinking is 100% of your problems now.
Yeah, exactly. So, then we jump forward to the Model A, which that was not supposed to be a Detroit car. Ted came to us like 6 months before Detroit, and he's like, I want a Riddler car.
Weird. We were just building new headers.
Yeah.
Fucking bad.
Yeah, those were the coolest headers ever built.
Nasty.
Ted's awesome. Ted Hubbard. He's he's like, do it. I don't care what it costs. Just do it. I want it done. You know, I want it to look like a high school kid's car that his dad had way too much money. Just do it. Okay, dude.
That's pretty cool.
Ted's awesome. You know, he would come in and you couldn't get him to say a word. He would come in during lunch, and if this was the car right here, he'd walk around it. He might do this. That was it. Out the door he went. And you're like, what the fuck was that? Was that good? Was that bad?
Wow.
You know? And
That's wild.
Even when he saw it, he's just like, you're like, holy crap. You know,
Was that good enough?
Do you
we're,
like it?
we're killing ourselves here. But was that a good thing? And he liked it. He loved it. He actually did. His first time he's
Now
ever.
you feel like those employees that I don't know if they're doing a good job or not.
So I can't just walk out there and be like,
And that leaves a little bit to be desired, I think.
And you know, I think the thing that was really cool about that car was Ted had a dream of he wanted one of his hot rods on a cover of a magazine, and we got him like
oh yeah, he got
7 covers that year or whatever in his mailbox, and
that-
to him was like the world, and that's cool.
The only other car, that car was fucking awesome. The only other car that's done what that car has done, where you're like, that's just a fuck you to everybody, is Pinky's Hemisphere.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Loaded too, but Loaded was
That's
Loaded
one of
was in a
those-
different category. Loaded was just like, oh,
You didn't know what you were looking at first.
Yeah.
That hemisphere is one that'll live on forever.
Forever.
and that's where I saw like when it's like Hemisphere. No, it wasn't any type of inspiration or anything like that, but similar mentality of like, let's do this style, but to fucking 14, you know. And it was like, yeah, I dug it. Well,
thank you.
The hell out of
That's-
it.
And to the point about Ted wanting just to be on the cover of a magazine, that hot rod magazine on the salt with the salt flying off the tires, that shot that's on the cover, I don't know if there's a better picture. I love that picture.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
That was
How much cleaning did you have when you got back from that?
You know, we've done a lot of photo shoots out there because we go to Bonneville quite a bit. Did it with the 40, and I posted a picture of the 40 on the salt, and literally where the picture was cut off. The trailer was right there.
Yeah.
I got like death threats because I had that car on the salt. And it's like, you don't understand. It rolled back. And that picture he's talking about, the Model A, we literally pushed it 10 feet. There's guys pushing it.
Yeah.
And it's, the salt was just right where it's flinging off the tire.
But I will say this about the 40, when we took it apart and changed some stuff a couple years back. There was salt on top of the control arm, and like in these places
crevice
that you couldn't
get to.
never get to and never see. That's the craziest place on earth.
That's the coolest place on earth. It really is.
Yeah.
Why we eat that stuff is beyond me, but it's crazy.
Was the Bonneville car a customer's car? Or is that your car?
That was Ron
That's Ron's
Isaac's car.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So it's retired now.
Is it?
It's going to the Speedway Museum.
That's
That's cool. I think we're gonna go out there for that Wheel Hub Live.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, they just
coming
kind
up.
of came live with it. Was it yesterday or something? Yeah.
That's gonna be a fucking cool event.
That's going to be awesome. So yeah, we're doing that cruise back to my shop for lunch. The whole thing, everybody signs up for it.
Sweet, we're gonna draw some dicks in there.
Yeah. Come on.
Get after it. Bring industrial amount of Sharpies.
It's going to be like,
We've never been to the Speedway Museum. We've talked about it. We've never been to your shop.
You have to go to the Speedway
Yeah.
Museum, and you'll spend hours.
I think it's going to be a really cool event. We've been
Yeah.
talking to Rodney and stuff. They again, you said they went live with it yesterday.
Badass cars out there too.
yeah,
I think we're going to do some recording, maybe do a couple
Yeah.
episodes out there.
absolutely.
I think it'd be fun. But it ought to be a really cool back. And what a better place to do a
The
show.
Speedway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody will be blown away when they walk in that place. I mean, it is, and
I've heard
they're
it's
adding
amazing.
on, and they got this whole new edition. That's
Yeah,
kind
so
of the
they're
grand
coming up.
opening of that deal.
Yeah.
So
Place is fucking huge. You look at and they've got it from the pictures I was looking at the other day, like curated really well too.
Oh,
You
yeah,
got-
yeah.
You want to
Tim-
look at motors? They got the motor room. They want to look at art? You got the art room. It's.
I've
pretty
been in there
fucking cool.
probably 15 times, and it's never been the same twice.
Really.
yeah,
Never.
Tim that orchestrates all that. He just called me on the way up here. He's the nicest guy in the world, and I don't know how he does it. Because they got the museum, and then they got other buildings full of stuff that's like 12 times what they got in that museum, and the stuff they got is it's unreal. You'll see it, and you're just like, where the hell
It's
did that
coming.
come
What
from?
May 24th?
The end of May, whatever
27th,
25th is.
something like
Yeah,
that?
something like that.
May 20th.
It's after Nashville.
Yeah, it's May 27th.
25th. Yeah.
Yes.
Ask just Matt; he'll know.
Yeah, Wheel Hub Live. Just Matt. When is it?
May 20th.
That's what I thought. I was right there with you.
There was another topic we were going to bring up.
We got
Yeah,
all the time. We could grab another bottle.
We need to grab.
you
another
probably
bottle.
should.
Yeah.
So there was I can't remember what we talked about this today because we were going to bring it up. You guys sent us a chassis one time, and I think we got like the ultimate gold shipping package or something with this deal.
Oh, I remember this. This is the best story ever.
Grab that Blanton's right there then.
Yeah.
Andy's gone at SEMA at this time, and this I don't even remember what shipping company it was, but whatever, ABF or whatever fucking shipping company it was. Guy rolls
Schneider.
up.
It was Schneider because we use Schneider, only Schneider. We've always used Schneider.
All right, Schneider it was.
This episode
Schneider.
brought to you by Schneider.
So Schneider, they have great employees, and this guy rolls up and he hops out of the cab, and he's very eccentric, and he's got two Chihuahuas with him. These two little Chihuahuas. He takes them out to the bathroom and goes, "Hey man, I gotta go too. You got one?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Truck driver shits are the best too.
And so, so I point him to the bathroom, and he comes out of the bathroom. Mouth going 1,000,000 miles an hour. There's like a Tri-5 Chevy or something sitting there. We were just, honestly, I think we were putting a roaster shop chassis underneath of it, maybe, but I don't remember. And he's just excited as hell about this. So we walk through the whole shop, and he's like, "Man," he goes, "I got this thing in the back." He goes, "I don't know how the fuck you guys gonna get this out of there. I'm scared as hell." I'm like, I've unloaded quite a few roaster shop chassis this time. We have a system. And so we go ahead and do it. It takes 2 forklifts. He's got to drive off from underneath it. We explain it to him. And he's excited when it's done. Closes the doors up, and he goes, "Hey guys, you mind if I celebrate a little bit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I suppose." What do you got in plan? So he puts the dogs in the cab, comes
Party.
out,
I like to party.
walks out, drops a 250 shot of satellite missiles on the fucking ground, lights it, and drives off. Doesn't even
No
say
way.
pick it up. Yeah. It's SEMA, so what? It's like the first week of October or like the end of October. Yeah, just
That's pretty badass. I
Drives up.
Cool.
wonder who that driver was.
Andy called me. He's like, who are you guys using for shipping? Like,
Oh, we do
I don't know
that.
why.
We only do that for the high
Guy
end.
dropped her off and had fireworks going afterwards.
Consider yourself lucky. That's the platinum package.
It was one of the wildest things, man. It was awesome.
Oh, that is fucking cool.
And I was pissed because I was actually at SEMA and they called me and told me about this. And it happened
never
just
even heard
outside
about
of
this.
our cameras.
Oh,
You know,
you
so-
couldn't even see it.
Yeah.
What?
That would have been great on video.
Oh, it would have been awesome.
I want to know the backstory on that.
You need to set up a package like that.
I wonder what Dimitri drives around with a fucking full blown. Yeah.
I thought you guys might have arranged it.
No,
No, that was
We'll take credit for it now. but-
unsolicited.
Yeah, it was,
That's
it was
on
awesome.
your 13th chassis. You get a Firebird show.
And you like, I'd be concerned with those open-toed Puma sandals.
Well, you're wearing socks with the sandals, so they're not going to hurt your toe.
Yes.
Yeah.
This guy was wearing Jordans.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I do. I got a question. I mean, I know you've got an employee here, just Matt.
Just Matt.
That's you're gonna have to change your Instagram handle now. It's just Matt.
I already got a good one picked out.
What is it?
Hot Bearded Summers.
Hot Bearded Summer. Are you on Instagram now?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, check out Hot Bearded Summers.
Is there an underscore or anything in there? Is it
No,
just
no,
straight
it
up
just rolls with it.
At
No one
Hot
else had
Bearded
that.
Summers. That sounds like a great OnlyFans.
I should open one.
You should. I'm telling you, there's good money in it. Ask me how I know.
So I've been told.
You know,
What was
there's
it, Silver
these,
Fox? Something.
Silver Fox. Yeah, Silver Fox.
So I got a question. So if family wasn't the situation that it was when you left Troy's, for other guys out there looking to start a shop from scratch, I mean, you've obviously had luck. You've had talent, but luck's played a
the stars aligned.
stars aligned, right place, right time, and all that. Would you have done it again the way you've done it?
I'm not sure I knew what I was doing first part.
We can cut all this part out.
I was
if you
just
don't
building a
want
40 Ford, you know. I was just building the baddest 40 Ford I thought I could build. Actually, honestly, I was going through a divorce, and this is going to sound weird, but I took my frustrations out on that 40 Ford.
So you kicked the shit out of that.
I kicked the shit out of that car. No, that's all I did, honestly.
A lot of sandbag and hammer work.
Yeah, my wife gives me so much crap for this because, like, when we actually met like 9 years ago here in about another week, and it was at the World of Wheels in Omaha. And my daughter and her son were best friends. That's how we met. She lived down the street with her parents, and I just knew her as this hot little thing down the street. Drive by, and sometimes she's in the driveway. Damn. But
You showed up in the 40 and you're like, what's up?
well,
We should have
actually,
our kids do a play date.
Dude,
that's how it started. Actually,
Is it?
yeah.
my daughter's best friend's mom's pretty hot too.
Yeah, but you're married right now.
Yeah, I know.
Gotta think about the future.
It's all right. It's my wife's best friend. They're good. We're good. We're good.
So you know, all I did is I took my daughter to work or to daycare, and I went to work. That's all I did, and it was on that 44. That's all it was. Didn't do anything. And she's like, my wife always gives me crap. Like, how are you ever going to meet anybody? Like, I didn't have to.
It wasn't.
She just showed up in my driveway one day, and it was like, there it was.
Yeah.
You know.
If you're a badass hot rod builder, the chicks will
They
come.
will find it.
Well, she gives me crap because she didn't know what I did. She had no idea. I told her I was a welder.
Yeah.
And then there was a play date, and we went to the Omaha World of Wheels, and the 40 was sitting there, and she's like, "Why are all these people talking to you?" And I'm just like, you know,
I
I
welded
welded,
like a
yeah.
lot of things together. They're
yeah, I
curious.
welded a lot of shit together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she started putting it together, and she's a car girl. She's awesome. She's amazing, and
So
I wouldn't be where I'm at without her either. She's kind of the brains of the thing. I'm just a guy that bends metal.
I don't think any of us would be where we're at without the women behind us
Right.
because of the years that it took to get
Right.
to luckily where we are today.
Right.
Yeah, because the kids would have been like, if it wouldn't have been for the wives, I mean, I don't know.
Everybody would have
I'd have
gone.
just
Everybody would have.
chunked a bunch of
Everybody would have starved.
Yeah, everybody would have started.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is. It's I mean, we briefly get into the subject and we never really go too far into it, but the sacrifice that the rest of the family has to go through.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been in it for how many years on your own, and you just did the shit again with this Buick. And I mean,
No, it was, you know, we've all been through it. You miss out on everything. We all got little kids, and they'll call you and you screen time, but it's not,
Mine are unfortunately not as little as they once were. So I'm fucking old as shit. But we get that.
Silver came to terms there.
Well, and he's got 2 young kids. He spent, he had 18-hour days for how long? And then the last week? I don't know that hardly any of us left the shop.
I think we did 83
too.
straight that last week or last 3-4 days, whatever it was. It was like
4 days. Yeah, it was.
that hurts, man.
Oh, yeah.
I used to be able to do that when I was a little younger. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets a little different, doesn't it?
And it hurts more too, especially you got 2 young kids, 2 kids under 6 that they're growing and moving every day. Like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Put that much.
Yeah,
time into
it's
something.
hard on the family. I got like 2 little kids, 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and my little guy's totally into cars. He's 6.
That's awesome.
He's into it. He's screwed,
Yeah.
But he likes to come to shop, and he'd come and check it out. And Dad, put a wing on that thing. No, we're not putting a wing on that thing. But it's cool, And thank God I got a great wife because there'd be nights. Yeah, I'll be home at midnight or something. 7:30. You didn't come home. No, I'm still here.
Yeah, still working.
And
Next day started. I guess I'll try midnight tonight.
yeah.
Yeah.
And through the thing, we got a puppy, and it's like she put up with a lot of crap. So
Yeah, it takes a good woman.
it does.
And it really does.
It really does.
Yeah, I've been watching 1923.
Oh, yeah.
What's it? The predecessor to
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. And that's basically what the whole thing's based on.
A badass
Yes.
woman behind
Yeah.
it.
It's important.
Oh, there's so much shit that, honestly, besides like making a paycheck, every single thing else relies on them.
Yeah.
Because every single thing else relies on them for years.
We're just big kids.
Yeah, we are. We absolutely are. It's funny though. You talk
You realize
about
the path you're walking down right now.
Yeah, I know.
You're gonna walk home and
She doesn't listen. Yes. It's funny, like you said, we texted a couple weeks ago. Like I was telling you, car looks awesome and stuff. And it's funny how you get into a groove and the shop's running, businesses things, and you're doing stuff, and then it's like time for that big push again. And not that it's anything the same or whatever, but for the month of February, we got all the chassis guys together and some of the chassis builders. We worked the whole month of February, 7 days a week. Right, never went home. And that we went home. We went home in the evening time, right?
Right.
And in my mind, I'm thinking, shit, dude, there was 10 days straight living at the shop,
Right.
no shower, Taco Bell and Doritos. That's what we did. And I'm like, this is no big deal. Still going to go home.
Right.
We still went home at halfway normal hours, but 7 days a week, like 2.5, 3 weeks into it of like, you're like, fuck, this shit sucks. And you get, when your body gets old,
Oh yeah.
and you just can't take it like you used to.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's funny.
That was when we got that car done. I mean, it was like Monday at 9:00. We got it in the trailer, and one of my very, very good friends, Rick Bolfers, he owns a trucking company, and he decided he was going to drive my toter for us because we were going to bed and we were done.
Yeah.
And we weren't even out of the parking lot. And we were freaking out, And I woke up and we were in Tucumcari, New Mexico.
Oh, Tucumcari.
And
Spent many a nights in Tucumcari. That was like the stop,
Yeah.
And I kind of walk up to the front or whatever, and he's like, "It's slick as shit," and I'm like, "Well, stop." He's like, "It's been as slick as hell all night," and I'm like, "Stop! Why didn't you say something?" He's like, "We got to get there." He drove straight through 26 hours the entire way.
Dude never stood up. I mean, we stopped twice for fuel in the toter. Never stood up other than that.
But and
Bad
Guy's an
motherfucker
animal.
there.
you're like, we're laughing and all that stuff. We go through all that shit, right? We're all fucking drug addicts because when you get to that show
It's the adrenaline.
and you get that thing set up and that first, like, you'll never get as high, air quotes, as you will that first show you take it to.
Yeah.
And the first time those people see it and the first thing and all that no sleep,
Right.
you're not even thinking about it. You don't think about that until after the show, after the bar, after the dinner at like 3:00 in the morning. You're like, I'm fucking dead. Right.
I'm gonna sleep for a week.
But you do it all over again for
Yeah,
that rush of like,
It's hard to describe.
if you going into it on setup day that you've given that thing 100%, you've done as best as you physically can as a human being, and your whole entire team has done everything that they possibly can, that is high as you're ever going to get on that car. And it's downhill from there, which sucks.
Right,
Because then you're searching for the next high.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a real thing right there.
It really is.
Yeah.
Never heard it described that way,
Ultimate.
but it's 100% correct.
Ultimate sense of accomplishment that
Absolutely.
left it all on the field, if you will.
Yeah.
You
That's
poured
a
it.
sports riff.
I got that. I watched Friday Night Lights.
Friday night.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And I think, I mean, I don't know. Again, we're not trying to solve problems here. This is some guys sitting around, sharing common interest, drinking some bourbon. But at the same time, if the first thing you're as high as you're ever going to be, right? You're at Grand National. You've got the car. It is as slick as it can be. There's like 3 or 4 things that that probably could have been better, and that's all of us, right? Every single one of us. The people that are looking at it aren't seeing that shit.
But that's all you're.
But that's all you're thinking about it. And
fixated on.
then you've got guys that are like, that's fucking awesome. The cool ass car, man. I really like it. So what are you building next? And you're like, dude, like check out the fucking car. Like check out that car. Don't worry about what I'm building next. It's fucking hilarious how even the guys like coming there to see it, whether it's other shops, whether it's just, fans that are people that are in the industry and stuff, their high is already over. They've seen that. So now what are you going to give me next?
Right.
What is coming out of your shop next?
You're on death's door. What else are you working on?
Yeah. What else you working on?
That is a problem. I mean, because here we it's the best car we've built at my shop. Every guy involved is literally the best thing we've done, and couldn't do it without any of them. And everybody put their stuff into it, and it's amazing. It really is. And right after Grand National, we have another one in line to go next year for Grand National. And it's like, shit, what did we just do to ourselves?
Yep.
Because how do
Set
you
your own bar.
Yeah, how do you follow that?
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny how that works out because a couple days later, Eric Black and I are on our phone all day long. We're discussing stuff, and it's like we're having the same discussions. Like, well, shit, now what do we do?
Yeah.
You need to go to one of those like 12-step programs. It's like
My name is Andy.
and I'm addicted to building hot rods.
But it's like, so we have a 33 Pontiac that's going to go next year.
Oh, wow.
And it's a different car. And the guy, Bill Barbado, wanted it to go to Detroit, and I finally got him talked out of Detroit, and we're going to Pomona with the car. And it's at the point, it's actually further along right now than the Buick was
A year
ago.
Yeah.
So, not that we're out of the water there or
By
whatever.
no means.
There's not quite as many square feet.
Yeah.
33
I
Pontiac?
guarantee you, I don't give a fuck if you had to
It's
show
gonna
up
be
with a
done.
wheel. You would be down to the wire.
Yeah.
It'll still be down to the wire. No doubt.
Yeah.
But there again, it's like, so Eric and I, it's a total different car. It's more of a hot rod, but I don't want to give too much away here because we've kept that car kind of a secret for quite a while. And we've discussed some wheel ideas, and it's like, well, shit, look what we just did with the Buick wheel.
Let's put more
We
dicks.
got a
Sorry.
Not only that, but
bigger bases.
that one was 12. That one was 9 Ps. This one's going to have to be 12. Right? Like, how do you go back down?
But you know what I mean? It's an internal thing that
It
you
is.
fight. It's like, well, we got to do better.
Yeah.
We got to do better. And it's just like probably every car you guys have ever done. Of
course.
You look back and you're like, that thing's a dumpster.
Yeah.
It's not. It's what you think in
You're
your head.
never happy with anything you finish.
Even though it's a great car, it's like I can do better.
That's a great time. And we talked about that at SEMA a couple years ago. We put this Mustang out, and it was honestly, it was a really cool Mustang. But like at the end of the build, we were all so jaded towards this Mustang.
It was the client that just ruined it for
We've
us
all had those.
But it was it's a cool car, and it's not quite the style that we would usually do. It's the style that he wanted. But like at the end of the day, that car's fucking really cool.
It is.
It's
it's a really cool
99% of people that look at that car, they think that's the baddest thing rolling.
Yep.
And you look at that, and I could tear that thing apart.
But you've seen it. You've lived. We talked about this before too. And it's the focus, right? And you've become. You're not looking at that car anymore. You've become. The microscope is so deep into the details of that car, and you've seen it over and over and over for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years working in the car, and you take even the Buick, right? You take the Mustang, you take whatever, take it away. You don't see it for 2 years. And surprise, you're going to lunch and that car pops up. You're like, we just did it the other day. We were leaving the other facility, the chassis assembly facility, right? I'm following Phil. We're headed back here. And the customer that owns the Road Rage, the blue wide body Camaro.
Yep.
He's local. He drives that thing all the time.
badass car.
So
too,
we're
by the
sitting
way.
at the red light. I'm behind Phil. We're sitting there. I mean, this
Just hear
morning
something
time.
nasty coming
You
down
hear,
the road.
Yeah, you hear just this nasty boy coming, right? And you're like, holy shit. And it just hits the turn and it turns. And you're like, oh, fuck.
I built that.
It doesn't register till like after 30 seconds. And then you're like, oh, fuck, that's cool. Because it's been a while,
Right.
and you see that thing. And that's what's refreshing, because you don't get what the people at the show and the customer and stuff like that. You don't get that.
Right.
You don't ever get that.
Well, the other thing you fight with that is, what's wrong with that car.
Oh yeah.
The areas that you think everybody sees, but they don't.
Right.
And that's a huge mind. It just screws with you.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, and you'll see, like, okay, so example, the Bronco came back 2-3 years after we were done working on it. We just did a couple little things to it. I'm saying, looking at it like, this Bronco is actually really fucking nice.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, I forgot how nice this car was. Because you in your mind, you're like, oh, there was this, this was an issue, this was an issue. Like,
Sure.
and we were fixing this little thing. It was like, holy shit, I actually forgot this thing. This is pretty fucking cool. Yeah, I have that all the time.
I don't know if, I'm sure there's other in the creative worlds. I mean, whether it be singer songwriter, whether it be actor, actresses, artist, anything like that that's on the creative stand. I assume, I mean, I'm none of those. So but I assume that they probably deal with some of the similar things. But it's funny how we talk about it in the car building realm. This is the only thing that I know of that people are going to continue to fight, climb, and try for something that's absolutely
oh yeah, that's a real thing.
unattainable. Well, and you can never reach perfection, and you're trying to reach perfection. Right. It's like jumping off of a 30-story building to fly, and then you're like coasting, and then you continue and climb again and jump again and jump again and jump again.
You know what's interesting, and like it's difficult to like portray this or like get this out there, but when you think of like you guys talking about like a car and you've got like, you see all the faults in it and that's all you see. Like your peers that respect you don't see those.
Right.
Like they see perfection, but the guys who all they see is perfection in the thing that created, like they're not really their peers, but the guys like you and us, you're looking at it and you're like, well, we see all the imperfections.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I get
Like,
what you're saying.
When you get to that level of like, you're pushing, you're trying to build the best, all you see is what's
because
wrong.
we're all afflicted with the same shit because we I don't know how, it's weird to try.
Well, yeah, it's just the guys that aren't pushing to that level that all like, they just think
this fucking wheels are sweet.
Fuck. Yeah, dude. This is the baddest ass thing like in the fucking
or
world.
some jackass on a podcast like 4 sun visors. That's awesome.
You know what we went through in that fucking car? And 4 sun visors?
4 sun visors is what you brought up?
Yeah, why the fuck would you put 4 sun visors on the car?
That's a funny thing that probably a slippery slope here, but I'm gonna go with it here.
Yeah.
It's a thing that it screws with me, and I know it screws with you guys because you just keep pushing yourself, and it's to the point where you almost run yourself ragged at times, and because you just want to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep creating and stuff, and every Tuesday morning I meet with my pastor for coffee. Awesome dude, and I've brought this up to him, like all I want to do is keep going and going and going, and he's like, but Andy, stop for a second. He goes, you're already building some of the baddest stuff out there. He goes, you could scale it back like 25% and you're still going to be fine. And I started thinking about that. And this was like 8 months ago. He told me this. So it's been in my head for a while.
Right at the middle of the height of
Right
pushing
before,
on
right before. But he's right.
And we didn't scale
He's
it
right.
back.
You drive yourself insane to create perfection when you could just scale it back just a little bit and you're still going to meet it.
Which
I get it.
you got to
Yeah,
push.
you feel like you're cheating on yourself.
No,
though.
you do.
Gotta push.
But it goes back to the family thing and
If they'd have scaled it back 20% when they're headed for the moon, like
that would have been like just in space.
I get it.
It's the whole trying to balance the hot rod shop thing and the family and the kids and life and everything. And so if you can scale it back a little bit here.
Now that's
Vast
a real.
majority of people would never notice.
Yeah, that's exactly
what you turned down.
Right. That's
you.
exactly what that. Yeah.
That's a real thing, and I think that honestly, that comes down to not that there's a good answer in this, but the deadlines. Because if the only way you're going to get the car that you're building now, the 33 Buick for Grand National,
Or the Pontiac.
Or the Pontiac.
I'm sorry, Pontiac. I apologize.
Potato.
Yeah, fucking drinking.
Thought it was a Cadillac.
Phil with the jokes. The only way you're going to get that done any earlier is if they move up the date, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only way, because that deadline is that deadline, right? And we put these arbitrary deadlines on ourselves because honestly, the customer, at the end of the day, the customer's like, build me the baddest shit that you can build me. I'm paying you to build me the baddest shit you can do, right? And then you're like, it needs to be this show,
Right.
you know? And if we would, the 20% scaling back, I could see on when the car's got to be done, right? But the level of effort, me personally, I can't get behind. I don't know how to be like, you know what?
Dial back the effort.
Because the customer, we know 100%, 95% of the customers that are paying us to do this stuff don't have the same eye
Right.
that we do.
But you know how
Maybe for the
there's-
details, but not for the maybe paint level, paint
Yeah.
quality and stuff like that on the stuff like that. We could make them happy,
Right.
make more money, be less stressed,
Right,
and move
right.
on to the next one.
But you know how
But
it
you're
is.
so worried about what the other builder's going to see. The other guy that can see that,
And yourself.
and yourself.
If
for
you
sure.
know that
want
you could have
perfection.
done better, even though if the customer is 100% happy, but you could have done 10 more percent or 15 more percent, I don't know. I'm not saying this is right.
But think about it this way. So, and we're all guilty of this. So you set these deadlines, and without these deadlines, these cars would not get done.
they
Forever.
They'd just go another year. You know?
Forever and ever.
So you set these deadlines, and you're like, oh, sweet, we got 2 more days. What are we going to do? You know, you just keep adding to it. Adding
We've
to
never
it.
Well,
been in
if
that.
we've got the 2 more days,
Yeah, we've
let's
never
do
been in
it.
that situation, but we're just assuming.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, we had 2 more days before.
But that's where that 20%,
Yeah,
it's in your head
Yeah.
that you could keep going and going
Well,
and
dude,
going.
even, we just ran a one of our Legend truck square bodies through Barrett Jackson, right? So
Very first one.
the very first one, and it hits the road, right? You've got to load the truck up, and it goes out there, and then it sits there for like 8 days. All I'm thinking about is that's like 14 days of like, there's all these different things that I wish I would have done that I still can do. So we can machine this part. We can do this. We can do that. I can bring it out there. We can next day it. We can do this. And it's not going to bring, like it's certainly not going to
Not a
elevate the
penny
price.
more.
Yeah. The
Right,
truck's
right.
just going to go for whatever the price the truck goes for. But
And
So instead, we engineered, 3D printed, and machined a crazy holder for an iPad so you could put it on there and show off all the stuff we did.
yeah, which was like, it worked okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Got the job done.
It was still a $20,000 iPad holder. Right.
But
It's the coolest iPad
yeah,
holder there is, though.
it's self-satisfaction, but I think it drives you to be like the best at what you do. Like
Right.
you wouldn't be who you are. That car wouldn't exist. That 60 wouldn't exist if you're like,
Good enough.
I think we did pretty good.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, how could you live with yourself doing? You're not going to be any happier working 80% as hard as you worked and putting out 80% of the work.
No, right. But it's more of a stress thing.
It is.
You know, you can dial that back a little bit and create, save yourself a whole lot of stress.
Yep.
That's, I guess, where I'm going with it.
No,
And-
I
and
understand what you're saying.
And it's a thing like, where do you draw that line?
right.
I mean, yeah, if we had another week on the Buick, holy hell, we'd have kept going.
Right. For another
But
week.
are you gonna like
so you
how much harder could you win the award? Like you won the shit out of the award, right? Like
It doesn't get any bigger.
But that's that passion thing,
Right.
That's
It's
So you're just going to hack the car then, right?
Fuck it.
lap weld it. Yeah.
but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
100%.
No, I totally get it.
The reason like we're talking about it is because we've all dealt with the same exact
yeah.
shit in
Yeah.
our heads.
Yeah, and we just keep doing it to ourselves.
Right. Right.
But it's what we love.
And again, full circle, having those women that realize that honestly they're living with a crazy person.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But they make decent money. So you just go be crazy, and do your thing. Yeah. It's I don't know. I wish one day we would find the medium, because it's funny how, like we're all talking about, we got to please ourselves, and we're worried about our peers. You want that satisfaction, you want that, again, not that you want to beat them,
Right.
You want them to be like, oh, that shit's fucking cool.
Yeah.
You want acceptance. We're all trying to get at the cool kids table in school, right? But if all the cool kids are saying, hey, we're all at the table, we should not try to be at this table so hard anymore. If everybody would say the same thing, like, would we still try to be as hard? Like, I don't know.
It'd be like a year off, and then the following year just be going twice as hard.
Right. Yeah. We haven't like solved anything. We've just talked about it. But at the same time, I mean, there's shops out there that are where we were 20, 25 years ago, you know, that are looking at that as you have to do it. And I think the quality, absolutely. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to do, because I guarantee you, if you were to build that 40 today,
Oh, yeah.
what would the cost difference be?
Oh.
Be a zero on the end of it.
Yeah, me too.
Because you knew what you wanted to build, right? And
Right.
the customer, whether the customer was like, fine, I don't care, open checkbook whatsoever, right? It doesn't matter what it is. You were doing the best you could do regardless of what you were getting paid. We talk about this all the fucking time, right? And you were putting your business card out there. You were doing the thing. It's I think it's important that we remember that we are all getting old, and that's why we have these conversations, because there is shops out there, there's individuals, there's employees, there's whatever that are looking at how to get to where, the shops are at this point in the game.
They just got to do what they do.
They do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think that's the problem with this whole social media stuff, and everybody gets too involved with it. Just do what you do and put your product out there. Let your product speak for what it is,
If you please yourself, if you know at the end of the day, if you can go to bed at night and sleep and be like, today I did exactly the best I could possibly do. Tomorrow I'll do the best I can do. And you know what? Today I did the best I could do, but I probably could do that part better tomorrow. Right. And if you're pleasing yourself and that customer, that's all that fucking matters. And I promise, usually if you do that, everything else like
falls into place.
comes.
Yeah.
Fall in line.
Yeah. Unless you just got horrible fucking style.
Yeah, then it doesn't
So, yeah,
fucking
then you're
matter.
fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you're fucked.
You could do all those things, and it's going to amount to very little.
But there's guys out there that can help with that. So
Yeah.
reach out to Eric
Yeah.
Black or Eric Brockmeyer, those guys.
Yeah.
Straighten you out, put you on the right path.
That's what I mean. He's talking about Eric Black. I hope to get him scheduled and we can have him on. But
We should call him.
let's call him.
We'll call
You
him.
want to drunk dial? We've drunk dialed Chip Foose with Courtney
have.
Hansen
We
before. So let's
call EB. I told Randy he might got a phone call.
We drunk dialed Chris Jacobs.
we did.
He's on the West Coast. It's still early over there.
I'll text him first so he can get a little heads up.
Text him.
He's a little bit of a hipster too, so he's probably drinking like a
Where's he from?
Portland.
Portland.
Well, he's from Wyoming.
Okay.
Lives in Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
Wears a big
never, I've
hat.
never met him, never talked to him.
he's a cool guy.
Very,
Really
Dude,
I mean, his work
he's a
is
cool guy.
Freaking
his
awesome.
work is killer.
We worked together for years on another project.
Did you?
Previously? Yeah. So
Cooler than I could ever hope to be. He's got really cool hats.
Yeah.
Every time you see him, he's got just a great hat on.
he looks cooler than he really is. I mean, let's be honest. He knows how to pull off the style.
Oh, he's got it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. He's one of the first guys that him and our styles are very similar. And he's like the first guy that I've worked with designer wise. And there's a lot of great ones. And eventually we'll probably do cars where I work with some other guys as well. But Eric's the first guy I worked with where like, I can just kind of tell him like a little bit what I'm thinking
Your
about.
mind's eye meets.
Yeah. And like
I
a
agree.
day later, he sends this drawing over and it's like, it's done.
Yeah. When you
First
can
shot.
say very little words and he's putting together the pieces in between.
Yeah.
And I think I
It's
agree 100%.
It's crazy.
The whole display for that Buick was like, we had like a 5-minute conversation on the phone on the way back from, I don't even know where we were going. Me, you, and Eric were in the truck. And Eric was like, well, let me just sketch something up on a napkin. He sketched up loosely what the wheel stands looked like. And Eric was like, oh, I got you. And then that thing came. That whole entire display, Eric designed the whole display.
Yeah, he's very
like-
good at taking 3 or 4 reference points. I mean, just like no matter what. I mean, you could be like Nike, Zora Arca Stuntoff, and so and so, and oh yeah, absolutely, got you.
Yeah,
and put it's. I've never really dealt with anything like that before, but you've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, it's
that he can take very little puzzle pieces and put them together exactly what you see in your mind's eye. Yeah. And then usually tweak it a little bit better. You're like, oh, fuck, I didn't even realize that.
Exactly.
Never thought we could have done that. The package tray in the fucking Buick.
He did it on every damn piece of that car. And finally, I'm like, dude, stop drawing. Just stop. Stop.
We can't do it anymore. But the package tray was crazy because we were all standing around. We're like, I don't know what this needs. It needs something, but we're not sure.
But he also does it in a way like he's not oblivious to the fact that it has to be made.
Right. He's got some sense of
that what I'm drawing actually has to be done
in that's a big
in scale
difference.
And putting it together. And these are the 3 pieces. And even if it's a rough sketch of like, hey, this is what I'm talking about. This is going to countersink here, and then this can top load from this way.
Exactly. You know, it's one thing to draw this crazy cartoon cool design, but then you got to make it.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't make a cartoon.
I was like probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen is the book right there they did for Delmo. Have you guys seen this?
Oh yeah, dude.
That's
I've seen pictures on Instagram.
Book is awesome.
Delmo sent one of those to me like, dude, fuck you. Like that's
I saw
it's the
pictures
coolest thing I've ever
I've never
seen
it before.
Well, when him and Kurzmarzik, when Jason get together, like, because Jason's great at the graphic stuff, and Eric's great, obviously, at all the rendering design stuff. And if they two get together, dude, they can put some shit together.
Yeah.
Really cool shit.
Oh, I've seen this. It's
pretty spectacular.
This is kind of right along the lines of walking into Troy's right here. You're just like,
yeah.
Why would I even try?
I guess we're not building 4-wheel drive trucks anymore. So,
yeah, that whole camper thing they're doing, it's all of it.
Well, we get to the time of the night where we do some of the standard questions. So you guys ready?
Yeah.
What time is it? Are you looking at the time?
only 7:30.
Damn.
Not that late. I thought it was gonna be like 9 o'clock.
We're hard to talk to.
Pulling teeth over here.
What time is it?
So you referenced at the very beginning, your very first car, right? That was 37.
37 Ford
sedan, right?
Yep.
Story about that car.
So that was a car my dad and I found in Council Bluffs, Iowa. And he helped me buy it. $1,000. He put 500 in. I somehow had $500. Went and we bought it. And I never really built the whole car because I didn't know. It was one of those cars. I was still cutting them shoeboxes up and destroying them. And I didn't want to destroy that car yet. So kept on that. I kept that car till I think I was about 25, 26 years old. And it was when I worked for Troy. This is a funny story. I worked for Troy. And I told him, I'm going to go home. I'm going to get my 37. I'm going to bring it back. I want to just make it a daily driver, just hammer it on the ground, patinaed, whatever. And I remember I brought it back and he walks out and he goes, this thing's a piece of shit. And I sold it like 2 days later. Kind of bad for it.
Killed your dream.
He did, yeah. But yeah, no, I've always had a love for those colors. Yeah.
What an asshole.
You know Troy. That's how he talks. Yeah. But story on that car.
Car's a piece. You're such an uplifting guy, Troy. All these kids should look up to you.
Yeah, like what that car could have been.
Yeah, such a dickhead.
Just Matt, what was your first car? Good story about it.
My first car was a 1998 Cavalier.
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
Dude,
yeah.
did you
fuzzy steering wheel cover?
That's where they're going with that.
No fuzzy steering wheel. No fuzzy steering wheel.
Black and gray two-tone?
White and black. White with black interior. I've actually only owned white cars. Way easier to clean.
Yeah. Get behind that.
You know, there's a story after this that you need to tell about Eric. Eric and him come with these bets. Okay. Not do this transmission one. That one's PG for this.
Is it PG?
You don't have to bring PG.
Yeah, wait, this is
This is
actually
rated R. This is pay-per-view.
There's some
this is
that
on
we're not
HBO.
Gonna, there's
This
some
is
that we're
late
not going to bring up. But.
If I'm going to tell that story, I got to preface it with this. Eric is one of the wildest dudes you'll ever fucking meet. And if it can be done, that dude's going to do it.
Really?
We went to Bonneville one year
Eric Black or
Eric Hansen. He works at the shop.
Okay.
One of my really good friends, co-workers. And if it can be done, he's going to do it. And we went to Bonneville one year, and the generator, I don't even know how we got to this point. We bought a generator. No one even thought to look. The 220 plug on the generator was not the same 220 plug on the welder. Oh, no problem, Eric says. Vice grips some sheets of metal that he cuts up into the fucking plugs, vice grips them into the proper parts on the
adapter kit.
Little adapter kit. And off we are.
Awesome
well
for
away.
220.
Yeah. But, and
Don't get too close. It'll be fine.
Nothing can stop that guy. No force of earth. If he wants to do something, he's going to do it.
You got to tell him transmissions.
Yeah. So I'm getting there. So like I'm saying, nothing can stop him. He's got this F100, which is, actually it's an F1. He'll argue that it's 51 F1. And, it's got a flathead in it. Obviously he's Eric Hansen. And,
He drives it every freaking day. The thing's probably got,
I bet he has 100,000 miles on the thing total.
On a flathead, huh?
On a flat. Well, he's put 2 flatheads in it.
But shit ton of oil.
Oh, dude. He makes any oil spill in fucking Alaska look like nothing. he's got a spot. He parks, and we have a handicap stall at the shop, which has never been used.
And then there's the flathead stall next to it.
He parks in the checkered area right next to it there, and it is just black and red.
You got to put a triple basin or something underneath.
Yeah. He never drives the same car 2 days in a row, but he has this 51. And he ran out of oil late one night and blew the motor up or whatever. So he decided he was going to change the motor and the transmission, and he was going to because it was a 3 on the tree. He was going to go 5-speed. He got a T5.
Sure.
That's out of an S10 most likely.
Yeah, that's 110% of that. Actually, it was out of another employee's S10 that he fucking blew up.
Flathead jack conversion kit.
You get the corn husker adapter.
He did something crazy there. But so he wanted his speedo to work, and this S10 had an electronic speedo, and the other one had a mechanical speedo. Or his truck runs a mechanical speedo, and the shaft is different diameters for those in the S10 years. So he buys a mechanical speedo gear that he's going to put on there, and it doesn't press fit. He figures this out. And so he takes 2 shaft collars and he tightens it down in the right spot, and everything's going well there. Well, then also, mag pickup goes in square with the reluctor wheel that would have been on the shaft, whereas the gear would have been offset. So we're standing in the shop one night and after work, and he's doing all this shit. And I'm like, well, what's your plan? How are you going to move this hole? He goes, I'm just going to weld a slug in there and drill another hole. I'm standing there watching him. I'm like, what do you mean? So he turns up this little slug of aluminum on the lathe and just hammers it in there. And he's standing there, he welds it up, standing there with a drill bit, and he looks at it and he goes, I'm going to drill it right here. I go, no fucking way that's going to work, dude. That thing ain't going to fucking work. And he's like, no, it's going to work just fine. He's like, I told him as a joke, I said, I will suck your fucking dick if this thing fucking works.
Famous last words.
Famous last words.
That motherfucker worked.
and we set some rules up to it. The thing had to live for 5,000 miles or whatever, and it had to be accurate enough. Because I knew if he got the gear wrong on the inside of the transmission, he's too lazy to pull the fucking. If you couldn't get it within the 3 to 5 gears in the outside.
Yeah, and you didn't want to suck a dick. I mean, obviously.
I put as many stipulations as thing as I can, and he never did get it accurate close enough. It was like 3 miles an hour was the
You're out there with the radar gun.
He was damn
GPS
close,
on the GPS on the phone. He got it within 3 mile an hour, and I will say this: he's still running that thing today, and it still leaks transmission fluid to this day because it doesn't seal that great. But the fucking speedo works, and it's never stripped of gear.
Dude, what is on your beard? You got a little something like.
You haven't paid, so you haven't paid up.
Never paid up. And you know what? That's the only bet I've ever reneged on, and I'm gonna keep reneging on that one to the end of time.
I wasn't expecting it.
It is getting worse.
I wasn't expecting it. It was a surprise.
Another unknown fact that we have a lot of athletic competitions at our shop.
Oh, we do too.
As do we.
Yeah.
Matt wins all of them.
Do you really?
You wouldn't expect it.
Very unassuming.
This big old guy here, he can run.
Damn.
I can jump. I can kick my foot over my head. There's
Can you?
Oh, whoa. Don't just come into somebody's house and start claiming you can kick your head over. Whoa.
We
prove it now.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that because we too have athletic competitions here. We call them feats of strength.
Friday night feats of strength.
And we
thing
happen
it's
to
only
have
Thursday.
the high kick champion sitting right here
Yeah.
to my left. Oh, Mr. Josh Henning.
I'll kick so high you gotta put a ladder up to measure it. I guarantee.
He's got like he's got a hinge. He's almost like a gymnast. That leg, that thing just, it's almost like it's decoupled from the rest of his body.
I got to find this video now where you guys are talking.
We might have to have,
A
little kickoff.
I'm trying to
Is this
think of
going to be a podcast first?
yeah,
We have
what can we kick? So you can high kick is what you're saying?
I mean, I have, yeah. It's been done.
It's a little fear in your voice.
He's a
there.
little taller than me, though. He's a little taller than me.
I've kicked some beer cans off of some high handholds.
What can we kick?
I tell you, we ain't making the same bet as he did.
You're not
First and
confident.
last time for everything. I've never made that bet again.
You're not confident in your high kick abilities?
No, much like him, he put together 35 stipulations of it needed to last this long. It needed to do this. Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to show you this video here as soon as I can find it.
We get into some foot races every now and again.
You're gonna have to send us that so we can put it up on
Yeah,
screen.
no, he foot raced a bunch of mini bikes.
We got these mini bikes.
get 'em out of the hole?
So another Eric Hansen story. This dude has this mini bike, and it's a fast mini
this is a
bike.
good one.
And he one day he wants a custom ground cam. They sell cams for them Briggs and Stratton motors. He didn't want to buy one, so he takes one. I'm standing there with him. He takes it to the Burr King, grinds the base circle square out of this motherfucker
What?
Yes.
on the Burr King. Just fucking goes for it.
What does he know? How does he know what he's grinding to?
It's Eric.
It's Eric Hansen. You don't have to know.
It's
He figures it out.
Hansen
I'll tell you
magic.
what. If this
It's a
thing
Goodwill Hunting thing.
if this thing doesn't fucking rip
He Burr King grinds his own cam.
in the fucking
Fucking legend right there.
this thing goes 60.
Absolute
This
legend.
thing goes 60 mile an hour before you can blink. This little, I mean, it's a little,
That's the badass story.
it's a little mini bike, and it is obviously he didn't buy it. It's not something from the 90s. It's something from the 70s, and the
No, it's
bushings in the
a
fork.
mini bike I bought my kids, but it was too fast.
But it's an old one. It was a
Yeah.
vintage mini bike. And the bushings are blown out on the fucking forks. And he has them old vintage square tires. Scariest goddamn thing you ever rode. And he'll ride this thing 60 mile an hour and won't even think twice about it. But we had a foot race one time, Le Mans start. He had to pull start it. And
You just kept going.
and I got the hit. And it was probably 150 yards. And it was honestly for just an off the cuff, like we're gonna set this race up. It was close because we went 2 out of 3. I won 2 out of 3, and all of them were close. I pulled a groin muscle, couldn't do anything for 3 weeks afterwards. But
I have them.
that race
Yeah, right here.
in the shop
we turn
parking
this
lot,
up?
is this at Bonneville or the shop parking lot?
No, this is Bonneville.
Oh, Bonneville's a different race, but yeah,
I don't know if you guys can hear it. Yeah.
You'll send us the video. It'll be playing right now.
Oh, dude.
Are you wearing pants?
He's got wheels.
Is that you?
Yeah, he's got wheels.
Oh, shit.
Oh, we got you on the top end, though.
Got you on the top end. The Bonneville one was a different story, but I wasn't working at my prime altitude. The brake specific.
My prime altitude. My prime altitude.
He's more of a closer to sea level type of guy.
Yeah.
You've got to send me that video.
We're only 1,200 feet in Omaha, and I don't know what they're at in Bonneville, but
But he did
It's
it like 4 times in a row.
It's a
5
dry
times
lake
a-
bed.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he had the right shoes on.
Yeah, no.
I've been sick for a
some
week.
some
acoustics
track
in this room are
spikes.
horrible.
Track spikes, no question.
All right. Best car movie and why?
Fastest Indian. No question.
Oh,
Damn.
that's a good one.
That's
That's
good.
first one. I think first time we've had that.
Yeah. Good
That's my favorite car movie.
What about you?
I would go American Graffiti.
It's a hot rodder there. You can tell. I mean, he's no grind your cam on the Burr King, but
No.
pretty close.
Guy goes for it.
Best SEMA story.
Wow. Boy, there's been some times out there.
Yeah, your wife's not going to listen, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. No, best
And if she does, not this long for sure.
Pop this off.
as in funniest or like what the hell?
I don't care. Bring us something.
Josh has the funniest. So.
Come on.
We'll go with the first what the hell one was when I had the 40 there.
Yeah.
It was sitting in the Ford booth up there on the stage.
Yep.
And I walk up on I think it was a Thursday morning. We were there and just walk up and there's 2 Chinese people just sitting in the thing, just
Sitting in it?
yeah, sitting in it.
In the
In the 40. Doors shut, just sitting there. And I walk up and, they don't speak a lick of English. And I'm like, they just like sat there. I had to like open the door and like, get out.
Damn.
Yeah. So that was the what
They
the fuck
they
moment.
said nothing.
No, well, they were,
So good.
funniest.
We'll edit that part out.
Funniest is probably, you guys probably know Bud Brunsman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's always a good time with Bud.
Yep.
So,
Johnny Cash of our
Yes.
era.
In his
In his mind. 100%.
there was a time, it was when we were doing that eBay Mustang at Troy's,
Okay.
and we had debuted it out there. And he calls me, he's like, where you at? And I'm like, we tell him we're downtown somewhere or whatever. And he's like, I'll be there in a minute. It wasn't even like 10 seconds later. You just hear this car just ripping ass around the corner. He's in this Cobra. And it literally 10 seconds later, he's right there. And he pulls up. And it's a Bud thing,
Yeah.
total Bud thing. But yeah, he took us out that night and then it got stupid. And
It's a toss the keys.
yeah.
Keep it up front.
But it's a Bud thing. He calls you, where you at? And he's like around the corner.
Yeah.
So, but there's been many times out there. It's been a good time. I haven't been out there in a few years. So
Have you not?
No.
What about you, Matt? You got a favorite SEMA story? You been to SEMA?
I've been once. I don't have any really great stories out of it.
Really, first year? You went once, first year, no.
Oh, come on. That's a fall in love.
Usually the
Yeah.
first time SEMA.
No, dude,
those
she's
are the
getting
best.
a real estate license.
She's-
we
she's-
really connected at a level.
I'm telling you, this chick, she loves me. She told me she loves me. Like, I gave her my ATM card and the pin.
I'm telling you, she's not like the rest.
No, none of that.
I don't have a great SEMA. I mean, it was a great time. It was a good show, but
there was a lot of times with Troy out there that was like, oof.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Oof. Just be yourself. Don't try to be something you're not, There's a lot of people out there, especially in today's world. You get on Instagram, you see all this crap, and it's so easy to get suckered into all that crap.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. Do what you do, and it'll all fall into place.
Nice. How about you, Matt? What's the best piece of advice that Andy has ever given you? You've been with him a long time.
I don't know about Andy, but I had a football coach who used to always say, "Nobody cares, work harder." That was his thing. And,
Yeah.
and then ET was the team slogan, effort and toughness, and that was all you had to care about. But nobody cares. I don't care if your cat died or whatever. It rained today.
Work hard.
Work harder. Put your nose down. Focus on what's going on.
That's really good.
That's all that matters. Nobody cares. All these everybody has a circumstance. Everybody has an excuse.
That's the
Everybody
truth.
has a reason. Work harder.
If you could go back in time to any point in time, what time would it be and what would you tell yourself?
Oof. Let me think about that for a second.
What about you, Matt?
Now you just threw me under the bus. Thanks, Andy.
The boss needed time to think, so fill in.
Think, man.
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of crazy things I did when I was younger.
There's a lot of hot rod shops to sweep floors in. Keep looking.
I could have picked worse, right? Yeah. Could have picked worse. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, that's a tough question because it's like all those things that you may have done wrong have like contributed to where you're at right now.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it's about
And
like
would that
change.
have altered it,
Yeah.
Don't change what you're doing.
Right.
Don't get mad at me. It's a
No,
fucking
I'm not.
question.
Yeah, I'm just working through it.
I have a story.
It's like a
that
Back to the Future question.
Might not go. It might not go with that, but it's
It's like, that was the mom, wasn't it? In that part of the movie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Talk shut.
Yeah, sorry.
Shut the fuck.
Go ahead.
all good. I have a story that it goes with that, but it doesn't. And it was that year I finished that 40, and I toted that thing all over the country, just wore myself ragged trying to get that thing out and get the shop just out there. And I was out there at Hot August nights, and it's like midnight, and this thunderstorm comes, and we're stuck in a parking lot, and the thing got baptized, and I'm sitting there. I'd taped all the door jams up because it didn't have any weather strip in it, whatever. It's a show car.
Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just raining cats and dogs sitting inside with cups and you're like, whatever, catching all that shit. And it stops. I get out and I'm cleaning it all up, pulling all the tape off and wiping it up. And somebody comes up and starts talking to me. And whatever, I'm busy. I'm cleaning this. And I was kind of blowing him off. And this guy's rattling stuff off about me and the car. And I look back and it's Don Perdome. And I'm like, holy shit. Then I stand up and I'm like, and he like knows everything about me in the car. And I'm just blown away. And I'm like, and I remember I told him like, I know more, I'm supposed to know more about you than you know about me. Because it was just mind boggling how this guy just came up out of nowhere. And that was the first moment. It's like, wow, that car actually,
That's cool.
It had an impact. But I was just blown away. And then I ended up having dinner with him. And then we were at Bonneville and we've had dinner again. And super cool dude. But
So was this at Indy by chance?
no, it was at Hot Dogs Night.
Reno.
That's nice. So I have a Don Perdome story as well, which is crazy. Don Perdome. Do you remember when we were in the elevator? Adams Mark, Indy, Don Perdome standing behind us.
I don't.
You don't remember that?
I remember the one with Boyd. I remember the Don Perdome.
No, that wasn't Boyd. That was what the fuck's his name? That dude from American Hot Rod. Boyd's
Dwayne.
manager. Dwayne.
We had one with Boyd too.
Yeah. No, we're sitting in the elevator, and there's Don Perdome standing behind us, and we're in there with my dad, and he's got like a dry sense of humor, and he says something about like, oh yeah, I think this guy's like must know something about drag racing or something, and Don Perdome just looks at him like he's a complete fucking asshole, and he looks at him and it was just like, yeah. So,
Your dad never said anything?
no, it was so fucking awkward.
That was it.
That was the story. You're like, dry sense of humor, tried to crack a joke. Don Perdome was not having it. But I'm like, yeah, that's fucking Don Perdome. Like,
Snake.
yeah.
Don the Snake.
Oh shit.
That went off subject, but that was my.
No, it's a
That
great
came,
story.
that came to my head.
No, it is like you said. It's that you're in the moment right now, thinking like, "What the fuck am I doing out here
exactly.
doing this?"
Exactly. And then you
Like-
got some guy talking to you, and you're trying to be respectful.
Like, dude,
but,
leave me the fuck alone. I'm
Yeah.
trying to dry this thing up.
Yeah,
right?
and then it's Don the Snake.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, they call you the snake. Like, big deal. Hold on a second. I'm trying to dry the car off. That's fucking awesome.
That was pretty cool. That was
Yeah, it
really
is cool.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, you just never know. Like,
Right.
I've had, random people come up and like young dude at SEMA, which is this one that just always stands out to me. Some young dude at SEMA, and there's a million things going on. And some young dude comes up and starts talking. You have a long conversation with him, and it's just interesting to see like the influence that you may have.
Right.
Like, I'm nobody, but like he was interested in the Roadster shop, and that little influence that I had, he just like following up with me and emailing me periodically and asking me questions, and it's like that little bit of time that I spent with this guy
Probably changed his life.
well, yeah, it's like influenced him and steered like maybe his career, and he took something out of it, and you just never know.
And you never know, that guy might have been the guy that started like PayPal or fucking Venmo or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and then I
could
could
have
be
been-
like, dude, like,
Hook it up.
yeah, come on, man, like,
Oh, you
Could've
never
been fucking
like
anything.
we've talked about it this whole fucking 3 hours, whatever it is. We're our own worst enemies, right? And we're wanting our peers to acknowledge the fact that we might be close to maybe their level, right? Sit at the cool kids table, but we're never really paying attention to anybody else, right? We're never really taking the time to realize that the people that maybe looking up to us, we don't want to even feel that way, because then it seems egotistical to think that somebody is that way, but you've got to take that time, because we've all had our stories of the guys that we looked up to. I
Right,
mean, you
right.
talked about Troy. I mean, all the guys, I've got stories like for days about Bobby Alloway, and stuff like that.
Yeah, Bobby Alloway is the best guy on the planet.
100%.
Hands down.
you just never,
Yeah.
never know. Like, I mean, I don't know where you're going with that, but you look back on that, dude. Fucking, we looked at Bobby Alloway rolling into like Good Guys Indy, as like, I mean, dude, he was like,
The second coming.
He was the coolest fucking dude ever.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
He like pissed you off. He was so cool.
yeah, it was like fucking unbelievable. You know, it's
Everything
like
was black as night.
you were watching like a rock star come in there.
Yeah.
You know, like dude had his fucking posse. It's like the timing was right. Like the fucking cars were so badass. Like,
Well, it's similar. Where I was going with that was like
Right.
like Mike Wagner, right? He's
Oh boy,
Love
Mike
Mike Wagner.
there.
so Mike. This is an employee of ours. Sorry.
Oh,
So
no,
different
you're
Mike
talking
Wagner.
Cornfield Customs.
So a
Yeah.
guy, a Mike Wagner that works for us. He leads the assembly shop, right, for the chassis side.
what's the correlation to Bobby Alloway?
Well,
Yeah, Mike's not that cool.
I mean, Mike's a good dude. I love Mike. Love Mike.
He's got a black truck.
Yeah.
yeah, you took
sure
the Bobby
Bobby-
Alloway
Okay,
part of
sorry.
He
it.
has a black truck, I'm sure.
So SEMA about 4 or 5 years ago.
Sure.
Mike at that point was finishing up school. He came up to it. We had the road rage at BASF booth. He came up, him with a couple of guys. Hey, I'm about to graduate. This is my resume. I think the world of the roadster shop. I would like to work at the roadster shop. And, blah blah blah. So I talked to him. Again, I'm full transparency. You're at SEMA, like you got SEMA things going on, right? I was friendly with Mike and all that stuff like that, but it's not. I'm not doing an interview, right? Okay, cool. I appreciate it. Let's talk. Well, we saw, for some reason, fate, we saw each other like 4 more times through SEMA. Hey, man, you look at the resume, you think, I'm in Michigan. I want to come out there. I want to do this stuff. Kept on and kept on. Again, great kid, all that. But I'm not like really into it. And again, it's my fault. And get back from SEMA, like a week later, he emails. Hey, man, if you take a chance to look at the resume, you've done this. And you find like, it starts dawning on you like, this kid's like, he's like serious. Like he wants a job. So we had him out, did an interview and stuff. And at that point it was one of the few like very fresh, like out of school from like on the chassis shop side that we gave a shot to and all that stuff. And I mean, look at what he's become,
Oh, yeah.
And that was my kind of point of you never really know these guys. There was guys that treated us all with respect, and there was guys that treated us all like shit.
Sure.
Guys that we looked up to or guys that we thought were cool, and then you've got those stories, you're like, that dude's a fucking dickhead. Or that was like, that guy took way too much time with me than he should have.
Dude, if you like, I get that. That's a great point that you're making. But if you're trying to make the correlation of like you or the comparison of you,
I was not.
and
I was
Bobby,
not.
like
no, I threw out a lot of names out
Okay.
there for all of us.
because I'm looking at like
I was not.
Like
So don't take
all
it that way.
No,
that
we're
you're
like
gonna take
Bobby
it.
Alloway.
I was not.
Bobby Alloway rolls in. It's like Guns N' Roses. It's like you're at a Guns N' Roses concert, right? You roll in. You're like
Florida
Mike
Georgia.
Wagner's.
Careful.
I'm not
where
gonna
you-
go. No, I'm not gonna go super hard on it. But Mike Wagner's like, I need a fucking job. Like
It had nothing to do with me, and I didn't.
exactly.
correlate
Well, that's
myself.
exactly what I'm saying.
Right, I know. I know. I think it was clear.
Yeah,
I
that's-
think it was
no,
clear the first time.
100%.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was clear.
Right. Yeah, the Bobby Alloway part. Like,
Yeah,
I
you
just
took
don't-
it to the-
yes. It's like that.
He
that
wanted
was
it further clarified.
It,
Right,
might,
that-
might be Thursday night, but we're gonna do feats of strength.
Yeah, the Bobby Alloway thing. It's like,
promise
dude,
you.
this guy's really fucking badass.
Feats of strength.
For you, it's like, yeah, this is a guy I can give
I'm
my
pretty
resume.
sure everybody
This is a
gets it
guy I
by
can
now.
give my resume to.
yeah.
I'm gonna hand my resume
He
to
looks
this
like
guy.
somebody that could give my resume to somebody important. Yeah, I get it. Everybody gets it. Thanks, Andy.
You're welcome.
I'm so glad that you
That was a
come
great
out.
intro into this.
To tie Mike Wagner into the deal, though, we have the Mike Wagner we thought you guys were talking
Yeah,
about.
where are you going with that?
Oh,
He's
I don't
from,
want to go down this path.
He's
Yeah,
from,
go down this
He's got a
path.
shop
Let's go,
called Cornfield Customs. He's in Ohio.
Sure.
And I tell you what, the dude can make anything out of one sheet of sheet metal that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one hell of a sheet metal fabricator. He's big into Bonneville. He just built a roadster that's going out there, and he's got a streamliner in the progress. And like the guy is, I mean, he came out and helped us with that Bonneville car that we built, that 2060 car. Him and Kyle Yoakum came out. And they just
Probably would have never got it
This
done without
this
him.
is some of Mike Wagner's work.
Oh, no.
so
Parties. Huh?
Looks good.
we have a good time. But like him and Kyle Yoakum came out, and fuck, that car is what, 26 foot long. The hood's got to be 12. You know, the hood and hood sides. I mean, those guys came out and they hammered that shit out fast because we were
they're studs.
we were as usual not quite ahead of schedule going into Bonneville that year.
It's well put.
Did you ever call them see if they could push that back a couple weeks?
Speed Week.
Yeah.
I got to call George Poteet there.
Yeah, George, you get it done. Yeah, George. I feel like,
Well, yeah, we need a couple more weeks.
yes, sir.
No problem, Mr. George. Whatever you need.
There's another guy. I don't know how. I mean, that's like the most inspirational guy to what we do.
He could tell you to go inside the gas station, get a bag of chips, and it would be like inspirational.
Life changing.
Yeah.
Like, shit, I've never realized.
I could just go in there and I can get the chips.
There's 4 or 5 guys like that out there.
There is. Yeah.
George Petit, Ross Myers is one of them.
Ross
Never
Myers,
met him.
Kent Matrenga that we do a lot of work for. And
So
they're-
they're like-
I mean, look, all the customers we all have are great. They really are. And they all add something to our lives. They really do.
There's a couple of them that are
Just happens to be that we are
Next
tied
level.
together with a car.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's funny how you meet some of those when you get to that point where you have a relationship with some of those customers that are successful, right? And then you start seeing some of the similarities or whatever of things maybe you felt guilty about in your own self or like competition wise or, strive, and then you realize like, oh shit, you the same shit. That's what's made you successful.
Right.
I don't feel so bad anymore.
Right.
Yeah. It's pretty cool at that point. Not that it like absolves you from all your sins, but it makes you feel a little bit better about yourself.
And it's also interesting. A lot of these guys have businesses or however they got their money. It's very interesting seeing how they progress through their industry or career or whatnot and made it. And, you take a lot of that and you apply it to your life and it only makes you better.
Yeah.
You got something to learn from every one of them.
And some of them, a lot of them, they didn't start with daddy's money. They started from the bottom and they worked their way there.
Most of them,
Ron was that way.
Most successful today, they generally started from the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, just Matt, I appreciate it. It's been awesome. That's a bearded sunset.
That
Hot
works too.
bearded
That might be
summers.
good.
Hot bearded
summer.
I had a roommate come up with that in college.
It's a really good one.
Yeah, I like it. No, I didn't have to put an underscore or anything. It was just fucking going.
No one else took that, huh?
No one. I couldn't believe it.
Hot bearded summer.
Now, are you guys going to foot race or what's going on here?
Oh, we're gonna high kick.
It's
down
a
there.
high kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High kick.
Is
Is
there
this
a way?
going live? Or
Is there a
this,
way we can capture this?
That's what I'm talking
what's
about.
the perspective?
We're gonna have to move the table.
Yeah, no, I feel
You guys
You
got to
definitely have
stretch.
to move the table because I did one time in a bar and I accidentally sent a bar stool to the moon. Shit was,
dude, I'm not
shit
like
was in low Earth
hey,
orbit.
I'm gonna say this right now. I usually I like to knock Josh down.
You don't say.
Yeah,
Generally,
Fuckers got some high kicks.
dude, tonight I'm putting my money on this motherfucker can kick the shit out of the ceiling. Like he can do high kicks like you've never seen.
Are you leaving the ground with your plant foot?
No.
you stay on the ground.
He kicks it up. He's got these little.
Because I was worried we were in a different level for a
Yeah,
minute.
no, we're not talking about jump kicks.
No, this is
Yeah,
not-
that's yeah.
Is this going to be a first ever? Like,
This would be if we debut Josh's high kick,
I mean, there's a way to do it.
dude. So all right, if I were to stand on the table holding something,
No, all we got to do. You've got a reference point there above. Oil.
yeah, how are we gauging this?
It's on film. It's
The table's going to have to move.
okay.
Is this
No,
is this
we just move the mic,
And I feel
Andy
like-
moves this way. We kick there.
is this a we vote
I
or
got
the
some-
internet votes?
I don't know.
well-
Might need some room.
Both.
The plot thickens.
Yeah.
Do we
might
need
have
to?
to
Are you
stretch
going to
out.
Hey,
actually?
No,
don't
I'm
fuck with my
thinking-
Miata slippers right there.
If I
The
kick right
Those are
here.
cool.
All right, so you're going to just do it there. We're going to gauge it off of like
You're gonna gauge it off
the
there.
perspective
And
of
your
the
high
oil
kick
and
up,
whiskey.
You're gonna see it right there.
Your high
It's
kick's
not as-
square enough that this isn't going to be an issue.
Dude, it's not as satisfying as
Yeah,
actually connecting with
Yeah, it's
something.
not just about high. You got to be precise too. You can't just like willy nilly like throw it out there.
Mine's pretty round. My high kick's pretty round.
This is fucking amazing.
All right. No, until you see it, it is
Are
amazing.
you going to like stretch or are you going to do?
I have to stretch. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be some stretching involved.
All right, I'm going to watch. I'm not going to watch you. I'm going to watch.
So this is going down right here, right in
yeah.
front of me.
He's got to slide.
I'm going to video this.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't hit the O, you might as well hang it up.
Hang on. I gotta get this started here.
Is there any good whiskey we got to move?
No, there's a lot of good whiskey.
Yeah. That Woodford bottle's pretty nice. Don't know.
These pants,
Dude,
these pants.
what's the wager?
These pants
Yeah, there
are
needs to
good.
be a wager. This
He's
is
way taller than me.
Oh, what's
I've already
the-
seen what Mike Wagner does.
Dude, what's the wager? You got this. All right. What's the wager?
I got a gag reflex.
Oh shit!
I missed that. One more time. I'm gonna get it.
That had to be above the O.
I have it on video. Impressive.
That matter? I don't know if I have it now.
Oh, you're not even. Yeah.
No, we're not in the same ballpark.
No, you're not. You are not.
Victory is yours.
Lift.
Oh, you gotta go like that.
Yeah, but I can get high with that wave.
Are you doing it over there or over here?
I'm gonna have to do it in front of the
he's gotta
camera.
do it
But
right there.
we're not in competition in that manner, especially not in this pair of pants.
You can take them off.
You've got like the crotch thing sewn into those.
Yeah,
It's
they're,
like
they're the bar.
Well, I mean, in that
You wanna
case,
make some jorts?
Let's bet
They're
one
not
good spirited
fiber.
blowjob.
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna embarrass.
Hang on, just a second. I gotta start the.
he's
camera.
going over backwards.
Hang on.
I'm practicing. I don't know if I have. He got up there.
High kick. No! Oh, he's got a fucking high kick on him.
I don't have that.
That might have been out of the screen.
We'll let Ironclad can go that together. They can
And edit
put-
that?
They,
I might have
Drop
to
some
lie.
lines
I might
in
have
there.
one more. I
Dude,
don't know that I
higher.
that one.
Oh.
I don't know that I have that.
He was above the.
Yeah, I
Josh was above.
Yeah, Josh definitely has me in that manner. If you want to go
Hey.
sideways,
Fucking impressive high kick though.
yeah.
I think this
For a
needs to
fat
be
guy.
multiple events.
for a fat guy, we should.
Yo, if we're doing feats of strength, yeah, this needs to be. This is like the California Games.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, well, we should have.
We gotta get some broomsticks.
You get
Yeah,
right.
Some DOM
Ranger
tubing.
catalogs.
You get right here, turn around and kick on the side. I actually will get up there decently high.
Really?
In that manner, I don't know. I've never even practiced that. That's a new one for me.
I feel like there needs to be like a best out of three. You need to add some.
No,
running
best
in
out of
those.
3, he still
Yeah.
wins. I don't have that one. Straight up. There's
No,
The,
where we're doing jump, the high kick, running.
The only
Yeah.
other event that I enter on
The
feats of
40
strength
yard?
is broomstick breaks.
40. I do 20.
Yeah,
I did 40
with
when
you.
I was younger, but 20, 40's
the hot rod shop manager John York. He tears catalogs, just
Oh, he's
straight
like-
in.
Like it's his
Big
job.
MasterCard catalog.
Oh shit!
Oh, yeah, that guy's a man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got
full blown.
baby hands. Everybody said it forever. That's not one of my strengths. Doesn't play to it.
Yeah, we've got
We're gonna have special guest John in here just
just to
ripping
tear up catalogs.
catalogs. Yeah.
I bet everybody at this table got bigger hands than me. It's bad.
Well, the
We need to get
the
Heath
3
out
people
here.
that are left listening right now will know that.
Feel sorry
Is
for
this
them.
live? By the way,
No.
No,
No, they'll edit all the
Fuck no.
they'll edit all
Yeah.
the bullshit.
Yeah,
out.
all that'll be gone. It'll actually seem like professional.
like we know
The
what we're
cover
talking about.
it. Right. It's just
Make it
gonna
seem
be
less
like
dumb.
sparkles and explosions and Josh.
So you're saying like
We got the truck driver with the fireworks.
gotta
He's
go,
gonna be
yeah.
here.
yeah,
You're gonna
that's
have
for
to make
sure.
that one.
Did you send me that video for the?
oh shit, I'll do it.
You've
right
got
now.
to send me that because that'll have to be piped in.
I'll get it to you here.
Big thanks again to Andy, Cal Auto, Hot Bearded Summer,
Just Matt.
Just Matt. Thanks again for listening to Oil and Whiskey with the Roadster Shop and Ironclad Original. If you like the show, be sure to leave us a rating and a review. Maybe not a review on this episode. You can just say, thumbs up, or thumbs down.
Don't give it the
Just no
Just tell
thumbs
your-
up or nothing.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends. It's awesome. Thanks again. We'll see you again next week.